Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. National honors for foreign dignitaries question. The FNM asking the government to provide the rationale. The National Development Plan critical to future planning. And an 82-year-old woman sexually assaulted. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Wednesday, July 12th, 2023. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, my special guest co-host, Duquesa Dean, will be joining us, filling in for Chester Robards today. Also this morning, it's our monthly segment with Access Accelerated Small Business Development Center. We're talking about their Women's Entrepreneurship Grant and their youth program. A lot to talk with them about this morning. That's all straight ahead, but first it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, FNM Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands questioning what led the government to honor President of Rwanda Paul Kagame and U.S. Congresswoman Maxine Waters as part of the Independence Honors. Sands asking, quote, what led the Prime Minister to make such a controversial selection and then to highlight them as part of our national celebration by affording limited time for these individuals to participate in an already packed program that was already poorly managed. Both Kagame and Waters, who were awarded the Order of Excellence, were given their awards during the Independence event at Clifford Park on Sunday evening. They each spoke at the event. Kagame praised the Bahamas as a stable democracy with a booming tourism industry and economy, and he thanked Prime Minister Davis for the honor. Then, in her nearly 5-minute address, Waters praised the Prime Minister as an extraordinary and magnificent leader. According to one of the show's directors, Philip Burrows, Kagame and Waters' speeches, which were not planned, led to some acts getting cut from the show. Burrows wrote, quote, our team timed this production down to the minute, actually down to the second for the entire evening. There were factors, however, that contributed to the Bahamas Christian Council starting late. Our team had been informed that within the Prime Minister's 5-minute speech, which was very much delivered on time, There will be an award presented to the president of Rwanda. This award actually came after the Prime Minister's speech, and we were not aware that the president would then be making a speech. Kagame is a controversial figure, though he is embraced by many Western leaders. According to the U.S. State Department's 2022 Human Rights Report, Rwanda is plagued with significant human rights issues, including unlawful and arbitrary killings, torture or cruel, inhumane, and degrading treatment by the government, threats of violence against journalists, and unjustified arrests or prosecutions of journalists, among other things. Minister of Foreign Affairs, who serves as the chairman of the Advisory Committee on the National Honors, did not comment on the rationale behind the decision. He referred to the law, which notes that the Order of Excellence is given to the heads of foreign governments on the advice of the Prime Minister or any person who is not a citizen of the Bahamas who has given exemplary service to the country. Stating that it has made significant headway in the days since the fire that ripped through its North Andros power station last Wednesday, BPL says that it has restored power to 90% of residents. BPL in a statement yesterday saying that on Tuesday, BPL's teams were able to make additional generation available, providing power to most areas of North Andros. It said to ensure system stability, BPL's present capacity allows for supply to approximately 90% of the residents. It said that until the system is stabilized, BPL will continue to load share, but only 10% of customers will experience periods of supply interruption in 4-hour periods. A principal who's also a pastor sentenced to 7 months imprisonment and given a $1,000 fine after he was convicted of indecently assaulting a student. 54-year-old Thomas Nottage would spend an additional 6 months behind bars if he fails to pay the fine. He was also ordered to pay $500 in compensation to his victim. Failing to do so would result in him serving an extra 6 months in prison. Following the trial, Chief Magistrate Joanne Ferguson Pratt convicted Nottage of indecently assaulting the 13-year-old student by kissing her. The incident happened in the office of Grace Christian School of Excellence on October 29, 2020, where Nottage served as principal. The student testified that on the date in question, Nottage called her into the office after school hours and told her that he loved her. He hugged her and kissed her on the lips before he tried to intimately tongue kiss her. During his testimony, Nottage admitted that he called the student into his office and that while there, he hugged her. However, he denied that he kissed the student. And Chairman of the National Development Plan Secretariat Felix Stubbs says that it is important to place focus on passing legislation ahead of the full completion of work on the plan, which is already 80% finished. He says they were working on the National Development Plan. They did draft legislation that they wanted the government to approve, and that's been forwarded a copy of the draft legislation to the Prime Minister and the Attorney General. Overseas NATO leaders gathering today to launch a highly symbolic new forum for ties with Ukraine after committing to provide the country with more military assistance for fighting Russia, but only vague assurances of future membership. U.S. President Joe Biden and his NATO counterparts will sit down with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in the new NATO-Ukraine Council, a permanent body where the 31 allies in Ukraine can hold consultations and call for meetings in emergency situations. The setting is part of NATO's effort to bring Ukraine as close as possible to the military alliance without actually joining it. On Tuesday, the leaders said in their communique summarizing the summit's conclusions that Ukraine can join, quote, when allies agree and conditions are met. The ambiguous outcome reflects the challenges of reaching consensus among the alliance's current members while the war with Russia continues, and has left Zelensky disappointed, even as he expressed appreciation for military hardware being promised by a group of 7 industrial nations. In sports, the 6 Bahamas games in full swing now, with 3 sporting disciplines wrapping up on day 5 yesterday and 3 more getting started. As it moves closer to the weekend, athletics and boxing will take center stage. In baseball, New Providence head coach and team manager Clarence C.J. McKenzie described it best when he said they were waiting 22 years to celebrate the way they did yesterday, knocking off Eleuthera in the gold medal game. The gold medal game turned out to be a pitcher's duel between Chad McKenzie of New Providence and Eleuthera's Norman Bastian III. At the end of the day, though, McKenzie's team played defense while the Eleuthera Adventurers' defense took the night off, it seemed. New Providence Buccaneers won 4-0 Tuesday night at the new Andre Rogers Baseball Stadium, knocking off Eleuthera for the second night in a row. Eleuthera settled for the silver, and Columbus Isles Arawaks took the bronze, losing to Eleuthera 3-1 earlier in the afternoon. The sailing component of the 6 Bahamas games completed as well. The new legend won the gold in the A class for Long Island. Rough Justice claimed the silver for Andros, and Silent Partner won the bronze for Grand Bahama. In Class B, the new Chase won gold for Long Island. Barbarian 2 settled for silver for Mycal, and Ant's Nest won the bronze for Grand Bahama. In the C class, Sassy Sue won the gold for Long Island. Sacrifice won the silver for Grand Bahama, and H2O winning the bronze for Exuma and Ragged Island. So Long Island dominating sailing. You can read more about how the teams are doing in today's Guardian Sports section. And the Bahamas' 14-member junior golf team had a busy 3 days of competition at the 35th Caribbean Amateur Junior Golf Championships, placing 5th overall the event in Grand Cayman. The event began Wednesday, July 5th, wrapped up on Friday. There were 6 other countries competing, including Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, and the host nation. And from Major League Baseball, the All-Star game last night, the National League defeating the American League 3-2. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first of good weather brought to you by Nescafe Coffee. Here's what's happening. We've got a ridge of high pressure that continues to dominate weather across the country, along with a thin layer of Saharan dust. A surface trough near the extreme northwest Bahamas will support some light shower activity through tonight. Beachgoers in the southeast Bahamas should be alert for rip currents along east and south coast beaches, and that presence of Saharan dust over the area could continue to pose a risk for those with allergies and respiratory issues, and so residents should take necessary precautions. And that heat index will remain in the triple digits, so stay hydrated and limit outdoor activities during peak sunlight hours. So, for all areas today, forecast calls for sunny, hot, and humid conditions with isolated showers or thunderstorms, becoming fair and warm at night with a chance of isolated showers. Expect breezy conditions in the southeastern islands. For boaters, small craft caution remains in effect for the southeast Bahamas. Wind southeast to south at 10 to 15 knots in the northwest, and east to southeast at 10 to 15 in the central, but 15 to 20 knots in the southeastern Bahamas. Seas 2 to 4 feet in the northwest and central islands, 4 to 6 feet in the southeast Bahamas. Temperature-wise right now in Nassau, it's about 84 degrees, showers in some parts of New Providence. We're looking at highs getting up to around 93 Fahrenheit, 34 Celsius, but the heat index will make it feel like it's 107 Fahrenheit, 41 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 80 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. Your first look at weather brought to you by Nescafe Coffee. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold. You're listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
My business couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity.
It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it.
My sales increase, and I can track my earnings.
Get your credit card machine from Fidelity today.
Call 356-7764.
Don't let go of your chance to win big with Alive on 700 Wines and Spirits. We've got an exclusive promotion just for you. Purchase 3 or more refreshing Click Rattlers and pair them with our Freedom 12 plan or higher at 700 Wines and Spirits. To enter the contest, simply write your name and phone number on the front of your receipt. Then snap a photo of your receipt and WhatsApp it to 242-805-7511. This promotion ends July 31st, 2023. Terms and conditions apply. Alive. Believe in best.
The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center is here to help small businesses throughout the entire Bahamas. To better serve you, we've made it easier to contact us. Call 461-7232, WhatsApp 359-0626 or 359-2394, email helpdesk@spdcbahamas.com, or submit a ticket when you visit our help center at accessaccelerator.org. The Access Accelerator, empowering small business.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I am Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Duquesa Dean, our special guest co-host today, is going to be joining us. She's filling in for Chester Robards today. And we look forward to having Duquesa with us. Also this morning in business, we're going to be talking with ACE Grid SBDC, that's Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center. We've got a lot going on. We're going to talk about their Women's Entrepreneurship Grant program and their youth program. We'll get all the details about that coming up. But right now, let's talk about what else is in the news. And in the news, you heard it in the overnight North Andros. PPL says they're still working there, but they've restored power to 90% of the people of North Andros after that devastating fire, the Nicholstown power station last week. So 10% still affected, and some people will still have to undergo load shedding, but they're hoping to get that together as quickly as possible. So we will keep you updated on that, definitely. This other story, I think you probably heard about it yesterday, but police arrested a 50-year-old man believed to be responsible for burglarizing a Centerville home and sexually assaulting an 82-year-old woman around 1:30 yesterday morning. According to reports, the woman was asleep in her home off Wolf Road when she was awoken and assaulted by the man. Police say the suspect, who has been in custody several times in relation to similar offenses, was arrested around 1 p.m. in Mount Tabor Estates. Police say they were aggressively investigating the incident. They appealed to members of the public, especially those with elderly female relatives living alone, to ensure that their homes are well secured and outfitted with durable locks and bolts to minimize these incidents from occurring. Last month, a 19-year-old who was out on bail accused of sexual assault was arrested in connection with 2 recent sexual assaults, including an attack on an 83-year-old woman. According to police, the woman was beaten and sexually assaulted at her home on Market Street. Wow. Oh, boy. Yeah. All right, so that's rough stuff there. But, yeah, so I hope everybody's paying attention to that. In other news, a big headline in the Nassau Guardian, and a lot of people talking about this and some other things that came out of the independence celebrations. The headline, National Honors for Foreign Dignitaries Questioned. The F&M chairman asking the government to provide the rationale. Our Travis Cartwright Carroll wrote about it. F&M chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands yesterday questioned what led the government to honor President of Rwanda, Paul Kagame. Asked, quote, what led the Prime Minister to make such a controversial selection and then to highlight them as part of our national celebration by affording limited time for these individuals to participate in an already packed program that both Kagame and Waters, who were awarded the Order of Excellence, were given their awards during the Independence event at Clifford Park on Sunday evening. They each spoke at the event. Kagame praised the Bahamas as a stable democracy with a booming tourism industry and economy, and he thanked Prime Minister Philip Davis for the honor. He said, quote, I accept it humbly as a mark of the growing friendship between our nations, he said in a nearly 3-minute speech. He added, quote, "I wish to underscore the importance that Rwanda has for fostering close relations between our people. By that I mean, of course, the Bahamas and Africa more generally. The common history we share is undeniable and undiluted by the ocean that separates us. Those bonds are a solid foundation on which to build a stronger and deeper cooperation as we work together to address the challenges facing." Well, in her nearly 5-minute address, she said, quote, "Prime Minister Philip, her other name is not brave just because somebody thought it up. It's because we have the kind of leadership that will take the Bahamas on, be at the top of America's agenda, and thank the government for the honor, saying it is, quote, the crown jewel of her career." The show's directors, Philip Burrows, Kagame and Waters' speeches, which were not planned, Burrows wrote, quote, "Our team timed this production down to the minute, actually down to the second for the entire evening. There were factors, however, that contributed to the Bahamas Christian Council starting late. Our team had been informed that within the Prime Minister's 5-minute speech, which is very much delivered on time, there would be an award presented to the president of Rwanda. This award actually came after the Prime Minister's speech, and we were not aware that the president would be making that speech. That was then followed with the same frame. This element, therefore, took up unforeseen time, and the dignitaries needed to make their way to and from the stage could start. Once all this was done, the BCCs and the producers of the evening, which is one long event, were not regular by 9th. This meant that we did not get all the information required and that we could not plan for the extra circumstances. This is an unusual situation this year. Oh boy. Oh boy. So that's what Burrows is saying, and then I don't know if you saw what Novi Pierre was saying yesterday. We'll get to that in a second. But so there's Kagame as well. So Kagame is a controversial figure, though he is embraced by many Western leaders. According to the U.S. State Department's 2022 Human Rights Record, Rwanda is plagued, including unlawful and arbitrary killings, torture or cruel, inhumane, and degrading treatment by the government, threats of violence against journalists, and unjustified arrests or prosecutions of journalists, among other things. Kagame was elected to office for a third time in 2017 and won 99% of the votes. But international election observers reported numerous flaws and irregularities. Minister of Foreign Affairs Fred Mitchell, who serves as the chairman of the advisory committee, commented on the rationale behind the decision, but he referred to the law to the heads of foreign governments on the advice of the minister or any person who is not a citizen of the Bahamas who has given exemplary service to the Bahamas. Now, Waters is a less controversial figure. She and her husband, Sidney Williams, former U.S. ambassadors to the Bahamas, are widely considered friends of the Bahamas. Okay, so as always, as expected controversy, Duquesa Dean is joining us now. Duquesa, good morning.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning,
Great to have you with us. So good to see you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Hope you had a great Independence holiday weekend.
I had the flu.
Oh, boy.
It was awful, but I'm better.
Yeah.
Praise God.
Well, glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. All right, so did you get to watch any of this?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
I watched until the sermon started.
Well, that was a very long part of it.
Yes.
So they were far behind by the time that happened. Apparently, from some estimates, almost an hour behind, and some acts got cut. And we saw that yesterday. So apparently, Novi Pierre, everybody knows Novi, right?
Yes. I read it.
You saw that?
Yes.
But apparently it was taken down and she put up another post.
Yeah,
but I'm
she
still
did.
going to read the one that she put up first. Why not, right? All right, and then I'll read the one that she put up
Edited,
afterward.
yes.
Yeah. All right, so she put this one up first. Sorry, Novi. Anyway, decency and order. You preach about decency and order, but ignore rules and regulations so that a timed show went over by an hour. Every year, the cultural show suffers. I, as an entertainer, will be paid whether I sing or not because it was not my fault. But what about the children? The students and teachers that rehearsed for weeks, the costumes that were made, the proud parents that sacrificed expensive gas and time to support something positive for their children. All thrown to the side for these 30-minute prayers. Why do we mock God and lie on him so? Yikes. If that's decency and order, you can keep it. You all are disrespectful to artists, time and country, and you owe all of us an apology. Lead by example and show off on your own time. Wow. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes, very. All right, so then the post was taken down, and she put this up. So, being the professional and fair person that I am redirecting my scolding. I've been told by pertinent persons, they read my posts, or read my post, it was not the Christian Council's fault, so I apologize. However, I am still upset for the kids. They lost their time to shine. Decency and order, and then this is the same old thing, right? Yeah, okay. So, as we heard, it was government officials, of course, and the things that were added to the program without producers knowing.
And the producers weren't present.
No.
At the actual tattoo.
Not for some of the... Well, no, they were, but they weren't aware that these things were going to be happening and that different people were going to be allowed to speak.
I agree with Novi that it was disappointing to the children, the parents who hustle the kids back and forth to practice and, having that national pride to perform at the 50th. You only have one 50th. And so I understand that disappointment. I also understand, though, that the program is running a bit behind prior. And I think that in the moment, there could have been other decisions, such as trimming some of the prayers once they recognized that.
What?
Yes,
Blasphemy.
I mean, they could have
Blasphemy.
trimmed. I mean, and let's just be real, Dwight. I believe that. I believe that there is a higher power. I believe in God. I believe that we were built on Christian principles. At the same time, though, I believe that once they recognized the program was going awry, minutes should have been trimmed or other things should have been eliminated so that more of the artists could participate. And then I also wondered, didn't they have like an official church service for the 50th anniversary? And so if there was an official church service, why would we then dedicate an hour and a half to the Christian Council? I mean, people are sitting in the heat.
Even more than we had the Christian Council and representatives from every Christian denomination.
Right.
So it was, I said yesterday in the show, this is really unnecessary. And I know a lot of people are angry at that, but that it just doesn't make sense. There's no reason
I
to have,
absolutely
because there's
agree.
like 10 different types of Baptist churches.
Right.
And at least 3 different Baptists were
Right.
there. And the Catholics and the Anglicans and,
Right.
every single.
I think maybe
everybody?
they could have presented at the gospel
And
concert.
video clips too.
Yes, I saw those.
Yeah.
And there was a gospel concert. That would have been ample time for the Christian Council or all these other denominations to show up and give their remarks as well. It was a hot night, and people were out. They were fanning. They came out for excitement. So I believe that some of this responsibility sits on the Prime Minister for the decision that he made to insert something unplanned. I'm not sure how well thought out that was. And then secondly, to the producers who were on site at that particular point in time to intervene in any way that they could to make sure that the final acts were able to. And then also,
I'm sure they did not feel that they were empowered to cut the pastors.
oh, that's a big problem.
And I'm sure that would not have gone over well.
Right.
That was going to be a problem. I bet they wanted to do it because, like, what in right?
That would
In
have been
God's
the best.
name is happening here.
That would have been the scenario because they had a very long time. We had maybe how many prayers? And then
200.
Right, we have a lot of prayers. So, I mean, even if they had trimmed the prayers to 2 minutes instead of 25 minutes, just to escalate that portion of the program because there were so many other things behind, not diminishing the value that we hold as a Christian nation, but also making sure that the youth would have an opportunity to showcase their talents and use the platform as well.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't really joking, but yesterday Laverne said that's not a good word. I was going to say have a lottery to determine the 3 pastors who will get to speak each year, but lottery in the church.
Gospel concert, there was an official national church service. Like, God was incorporated throughout the entire tattoo.
I certainly agree. Let's hear what you have to say about it, folks. So there's a lot of issues here. The acts got cut, and then the dignitaries, the foreigners that were honored. What do you make of that? Was that necessary? And did they have to speak?
Right. Was an acceptance or a presentation after that really, really necessary?
Right.
Like, what was the objective of that? Because I noticed that the Rwandan had a prepared
Yes,
presentation,
he did whip
so
out a piece of
obviously
paper.
he knew that something was going to happen when the planners didn't.
Right.
Because he had something prepared. Now, the U.S. Ambassador Maxine, Congresswoman, she seasseemed not to be as prepared. She was talking off the top of her head.
She spoke very well.
She's personable. She has a great appeal. But it, like you said, it did take a lot of time for that to be done.
Yeah. Give us a call, folks. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Let's hear what you have to say. All right. Text messages coming in. This person says, it's something different. Dwight, what's going on with my power? My power's been off since after 9 last night, and it's still off. Wow. Oh, boy. Which area are you in? Text us back. I did notice that, last night some areas were off.
The night before, I saw someone also post that their electricity was off from 9 until the following morning as well.
Wow. Can you imagine?
No.
80 degrees for the low temperature.
It's hot outside now.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. We're almost 90 already. Wow, that's a lot. This person said here, who paid for their trips and accommodations while they're in this country? Okay, well, I don't know. Boy,
we can take a wild guess.
That would be great. That would be crazy. All right. Those prayers were too long. Time could have been cut for those times. Too much religion kills things. Whoa. Pastors were showing off. Pathetic. Yikes. Okay, that's, boy. Dwight, trim the prayers. These devils will never give up a chance to play with God. What? I refused to listen to any part of the celebration because I knew in advance it would be playing Christian. Yikes.
Boy, that's really sad to the record. So who did we hear?
The flu.
Okay. And I'm glad that she brought that up. It's kind of off topic, but COVID is definitely still out there. We seem to have gone back to pre-COVID behaviors.
Well, that's
what I mean. Yeah. And so we have to make sure that we stick with washing our hands, to sanitizing, minimizing large crowds to any great extent, or making sure that our immune system is strong enough in the event that we do. I think my cold really was a result of in and out of the cold, because the AC is on at home, and then you come out in the heat, and it's unbearable, and going back into it. So I think the shift in the temperature.
And a lot of rain, too.
Let's take Thank you.
Yeah. A word to the wise. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning to both of you. Boy, I like the way your guest was able to pivot off that comment that came out of like a dark smell. That's just the way we are here. But the idea your guest gave concerning spreading these speeches over the various events sounds like a wonderful idea, since we need to include everybody. But right on the other side, don't you see a pattern here? We're going to have these events, and then we're going to do other things during the event. Like we're going to have an event, funeral service, and then we're going to give out citizenship. We're going to have a celebration, and then we're going to be doing other things. So I think this is just a pattern that we are just developing here. Don't you see that pattern?
Well, you might be onto something. That's very scary.
Oh, boy.
And then when you have people that can overrule you and make decisions on how an agenda can be changed, and you have very little say over whether that insertion should happen or not, you're really placed between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. And you feel bad. You feel like you're not valued.
Yes.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to see the axe that got cut. What can we do? When can we organize something for that?
That would really be good.
Yeah.
And I think it would be well supported. Our culture is inclusive of so many different things and not just religion. So it would be great to give them an opportunity to showcase their hard work. All the energy and effort that they've put into preparing for the tattoo, practicing in the heat.
Right?
They deserve that moment.
My goodness.
They deserve that moment.
All right, so getting your reaction to all of this, the criticism of the program, things that were added without notice to the directors and producers, and the questions about the foreign dignitaries who were honored as well. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Toll free 242-300-5720. Text us 422-4796.
That's right. If I can say that the setup was extremely nice. It was classy.
Yeah.
I loved how all the 50th was incorporated. They had props, and it was, you can see that a lot of intention and thought went into the layout and design of the park for the tattoo. Yeah. So that's commendable.
And I didn't get to say it yesterday, but the drone show, that was very impressive. That was really very nice. So that part was amazing. But yeah, they did a pretty good job. Although there's a lot of drama behind the scenes, it seems. All right, so we got some more of your text messages. The person says here, predominantly religious nation, yes, but we overdo Christ, and he isn't pleased. Why don't we even recognize the other religions that Bahamians subscribe to yet? That was very glaring, especially this year. Just really was weird. The ecumenical service should not be on the night as the Independence show, just as it wasn't in the past.
It was a lot. It was a lot. From 5 to midnight, that's a long time.
And some people stayed out till Junkanoo.
Correct.
And didn't come home till 9 a.m. apparently.
Correct. So, yeah, we should split.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're 50 all year. So it didn't, so many things happened in January. And I mean, even on that weekend, you had the Prime Minister's ball, you had Family Fun Day. So obviously there could be more past July. I think it stops August, if I'm not wrong.
I think there's even something in October.
So it could really extend throughout the entire year to give everyone an opportunity. And Bahamians are responding. They're coming out to all of the events. They're supporting. So if you have a year of celebrations, they would be supported. Because like I said, 50 is a big number. Jubilee, it only happens once. And so, it's being well supported. So I agree. Spread the events out. Maybe have a youth night for those that were unable to participate because of the schedule running behind. Maybe have a youth night and allow those young people to participate. I remember being at the tattoo as a little girl dancing with the conch style, doing the conch style, and it was really great, a great sense of pride that those kids have been robbed of and great memories. So hopefully we can have a youth weekend or something where they can, and the entertainers as well who work so hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Nicolette Bethel also issued us. Well, this is the same thing from Philip. Okay. Yeah. All right. So they timed everything to the minute. So yeah, very disappointing for everybody. I can imagine. Some other comments here. This is crazy.
I love when you laugh.
Oh boy, the gospel concert would have never allowed the pastors to pray that long. So even they wouldn't get to do that there. Well, oh boy. Okay.
I get that there were different prayers, right? Dwight, there were prayers for family and marriage. There were prayers for the youth people. There were different prayers for different segments of community. I just feel that it wasn't the proper place. And maybe they feel that it was the proper place because there were thousands, literally thousands of people, but how many of them were paying attention? Because after a certain point, you have to tap out. So how many people actually received those messages and prayers? Right? Some of those could have been videos that were circulated on social media so that those who, would want to avail themselves of those prayers would listen to them. They could have been recorded, played on the television. There were multiple ways that these different prayers for different segments of our community could have happened. If you're going to pray for the young people, do that at a young event. If you're going to pray for marriages, do that at a different, it's just the place was not right.
Right. Yeah. A few messages before we take a break. This person says here, why couldn't they cut the whole event, the tattoo, in half? Tattoo night and actually Independence Day. I miss the fireworks. Who shoots fireworks off after 1 a.m. when people are sleeping? Well, the Bahamas. That's what we do after midnight, the morning of, not the night of. That's what we do. Although there were other people who were doing it that night.
At midnight.
Well, later in the evening. Some other groups did theirs, but that's what we always do at midnight or
At
just
midnight,
after
correct.
midnight. So that's what we do. This person says, "I was waiting on the altar call."
What do you mean? All those prayers and there was no call to salvation? Wow.
Nothing to apologize for after the celebration. Plenty to apologize for after reaching 50 and still taxing food. Still not having public transportation. Still taxing construction while having a housing crisis. Apologize for that. Okay. I hear you. Well, yeah. We've got a lot of work to do.
We
That's,
do.
Right.
We
There's a lot of work to
definitely-
do. I'm sure some people won't agree with some of the things you said, but we do have work to do, and there's a lot.
taxes are a way of life.
Right.
Wherever you live in the world, except the Bahamas.
Doing something.
You have to pay.
Yeah. But
if they could show what they do with your money when you pay it, it may be more palatable.
Yes, indeed.
To give it.
Indeed. All right, let's take this break. When we come back, more on this and what else is making news on this. This is Wednesday, right? Yes, Wednesday morning here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're going to be back.
Right now I feel like whining. Shake that bump up on me cause we grinding. She's a piece of my bigger piece and we raking. Up on one with motorbike cause we scraping. Right now I feel like whining. Shake that bump up on me cause we grinding. She's a piece of my bigger piece and we raking. Up on one with motorbike cause we scraping. Yeah. I've been on these rocky roads before, seen a few open doors.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is AP News. I'm Rita Foley. We'll start with the treacherous weather across much of the nation. They're going to start cleaning up the mud and debris today in Montpelier, Vermont. After that state got 2 months of rain in 2 days. And forecasters are warning of more rain in New England later this week. And then there's the brutal heat.
Across the U.S. Southwest, residents in desert cities like Phoenix are experiencing an extreme heat wave. Even desert residents accustomed to scorching summers are feeling the grip of an extreme heat wave smacking the Southwest this week. Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, and Southern California are getting hit with 100-degree-plus temperatures and excessive heat warnings. To add insult to injury, the region has also been left high and dry with no monsoon activity. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
As NATO wraps up its summit in Lithuania today, China is accusing it of meddling in affairs beyond its borders and creating confrontation. Ukraine's President Zelensky has been hoping that NATO would accept Ukraine as a member, but so far there are only vague assurances of future membership as Russia's war in Ukraine drags on. And now,
concerns are growing that Russia won't extend a United Nations brokered deal that allows grain to float from Ukraine to parts of the world struggling with hunger. Ships are no longer heading to the war-torn country's Black Sea ports, and shipments have dwindled. The deal, originally reached last summer to ease a global food crisis, is up for renewal on Monday, and Russian officials say there are no grounds for extending it. They've threatened this before. I'm Charles Tilletesma.
Iowa's passed a bill banning most abortions after about 6 weeks of pregnancy. Governor Kim Reynolds says she will sign that bill on Friday. This is AP News. Now to Microsoft. The AP's Julie Walker with this story.
Microsoft gets the go-ahead to move forward with a record $69 billion acquisition of video game maker Activision Blizzard, which makes the popular Call of Duty. A federal judge hands Microsoft a major victory, declining to block its looming takeover of Activision Blizzard. Regulators are seeking to axe the deal because they say it will hurt competition, but the U.S. District Judge said in a ruling that the Federal Trade Commission has not shown a likelihood it will prevail. The case was an important test for the FTC's heightened security of the tech industry under Chairperson Lina Khan, who was installed by President Biden because of her tough stance on what she sees as monopolistic behavior by giants like Amazon, Google, and Facebook parent Meta. I'm Julie Walker.
The Dow gained 317 points yesterday. I'm Rita Foley, AP News.
7:27, time for your first look at traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. Get in gear with an RBC auto loan. Here is what's happening. As usual, Mile Butler Highway, one of your hot spots this morning. We're seeing that traffic as you get closer to Harold Pond. If you're heading northbound toward Tawny Bloom's Darling Highway, you can see that traffic in front of you. Over on Glassing Road, also busy about midway between Fire Trail and John F. Kennedy Drive this morning, northbound. Some building traffic on Blue Hill Road as you approach the roundabout with Independence Drive if you're heading northbound. Elsewhere, not looking so bad so far this morning. We'll have another update for you after the 8 o'clock news. That's your Morning Blend Traffic Alert brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/gear up for an RBC auto loan. And at 7:28, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by the Bahamas Games. We've got a ridge of high pressure that continues to dominate the weather across the Bahamas, along with a thin layer of Saharan dust. A surface trough near the extreme northwest Bahamas will support some light shower activity across those islands through tonight. For all areas today, sunny, hot, and humid, with isolated showers or thunderstorms possible, becoming fair and warm at night with a chance of isolated showers. Expect breezy conditions in the southeastern islands. For boaters, small craft caution remains in effect for the southeast Bahamas, and beachgoers in the southeast Bahamas should be alert for possible rip currents along east and south coast beaches. Temperature-wise, today we're looking at highs getting up to around 93 Fahrenheit, 34 Celsius, but the heat index will make it feel like it's 107 Fahrenheit, 41 Celsius. And everyone's being urged to remain hydrated and limit outdoor activities during peak sunlight hours. Overnight lows tonight getting down to a warm 80 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure will slide to the east as the northern end of a tropical wave is expected to move across the southern islands on Thursday evening and then continue across the central Bahamas on Friday, producing showers and thunderstorms. The surface trough near the northern islands will continue to enhance shower activity across the extreme northwestern islands. So for Thursday, tomorrow, partly sunny and hot with a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the northwest Bahamas and southeastern islands, breezy in the southeast Bahamas. Friday, variably cloudy and hot with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, breezy in the central and southeast Bahamas. We'll have your look at the tropics coming up in our next weather update after the 8 o'clock news. This weather update brought to you by the Bahamas Games, going on now through July 15th. For more information, call 322-1029 or follow the Bahamas Games on social media at Bahama Games.
Right now I feel like whining. Shake that bump up on me cause we grinding. She's all these.
That's the sound of your car or truck. That's the sound of your horn. Get in gear with an auto loan. RBC makes it easy to get your own.
Get in gear with an RBC auto loan with up to 100% financing, extended repayment, and low interest rates. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/gear up. Conditions apply.
That's the sound of your car or truck. That's
Girl, why you so sweaty?
Tyler getting ready for the Bahamas Games.
Bahamas Games? What that is?
The Games started in 1989 under the then Minister of Sports, Peter J. Bethel, and now Minister Mario Boleg.
When the Games is?
This July 7th to the 15th.
For more info,
go to www.thebahamasgames.org
or call 322-1029.
When faced with an illness like cancer, we band together, and we at Cleveland Clinic in Florida have your back. From advanced cancer treatments to extra safety measures at all of our locations, we're with you on this journey for every infusion and follow-up, for every step of the way, for every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic in Florida. Get the care you need when and where you need it. To learn more or connect with a local representative, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
Indulge in an experience that awakens your senses with Nescafe Gold. Premium Arabica coffee beans, carefully selected, roasted to perfection, and finely ground, resulting in a unique and unmatched flavor and aroma that captivates the senses. Enticing aroma, smooth taste. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold.
Total Auto Care on Howard Road offers fast, quality auto maintenance at the very best prices. Tune-ups, oil changes, brakes, suspension, wheel alignments, radiators, water pump replacements, and more. Need quality brand name tires for your vehicle? Tires that'll stand up to these roads? No worries. We supply Michelin, BF Goodrich, Bridgestone, Pirelli, and Toyo. We'll import them fast and install them for you at no extra cost. So when your car needs maintenance or quality tires, we're on Howard Road, just before Burger King. Come see us. Total Auto Care. Call us at 341-6599 or 341-2350.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Right now I feel like whining. Shake that bump up on me cause we grinding. She's a beast, I'm a bigger beast and we raking. Up on one with motorbike cause we scraping. Right now I feel like whining. Shake that bump up on me cause we grinding. She's a beast, I'm a bigger beast and we raking. Up on one with motorbike cause we scraping. Yeah. I've been on these rocky roads before, seen a few open doors, never learned. They reject me, but still I come back for more. Persistent, this is what I do to myself.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with my special guest co-host today, Duquesa Dean, filling in for Chester. And we're talking about what's in the news, getting a reaction to some of the criticism now from the independence celebrations on 2 fronts. The fact that there were some foreign dignitaries honored and questions about that. And also the fact that the show ran long and that some acts were cut because of the foreign dignitaries being honored and that they weren't scheduled to speak, but they were. And some of the pastors ran long and there were too many pastors. So some children were cut, and some other local entertainers didn't get to perform at all. And so we're getting your response to all that, your reaction to all this. Give us a call, 323-6232, 325-4259, 325-4259, and call us toll-free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Okay, this is an unusual text here. This is not related to anything we're talking about, but good morning, Dwight. I need you to settle a debate we had at work about Nassau being the capital of the Bahamas. I'm a 92 graduate, and I was taught that New Providence is the capital of the Bahamas. What? What say you? You need to text us back what school this was, because that is very problematic there. Are you being serious right now? This is a joke? This is a prank? Someone's punking us? What's going on?
She means because Nassau is on the island of New Providence?
Yeah, is that what you're talking about? Nassau is on the island of New Providence. New Providence houses the capital, which is Nassau, but New Providence is the island.
Yes.
You've been through all your life telling people that New Providence was the capital. That's what you're saying? Yikes. Okay. All right.
We settled that.
Yeah. And you had any doubt, there's a whole song that tells you it.
Yes, but you know where the gateway is.
And everybody knows it when you say it, right?
Yeah.
That was fast. The fastest time anybody ever got something.
That celebrity status quick.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's in everyone's head.
Everybody knows. And if you say Bahamas at the end of your sentence,
yes,
everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yes.
I think we'll start saying that. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Blend, Bahamas. Anyway, this person says it was a huge production. Of course, things are not going to run perfectly. And it was a very big production.
It was a big production and planned that huge production as well as so many other productions, because I think the same person, I believe, was responsible for oversight of the majority of them.
Mm.
And so you had one big event, I think Friday night, and then you on to this one. So it was like one big event to the next. And it is a lot. And I do believe they had it planned because there was an agenda published. I had the agenda to say
I saw that as well.
What events would be at what time.
Yeah.
So I think there was a lot of thought put into it. The execution, and there are variables that you can't control. And those popped up to help create these issues. Mm-hmm. And I think we can just grab the lessons from it. I think from the head down, there are lessons to be learned. Leadership is about setting the example. And so if there is a formal agenda, you work with program coordinators or you work with the project manager to discuss how to safely implement and how to make changes to the program to accommodate last-minute requests. And that's super important.
Yeah.
And perhaps even an announcement that to the people sitting in the stadium, not the stadium, but at the fort, to say this is something that's out of the agenda and we're going to take 15 minutes and keep it to within that defined period of time. But these sorts of things are indeed leader-led. Yeah. And like Texter said earlier, when you are in a position where you may not feel empowered to speak back, or you definitely can't say no to the ultimate head, then exactly what do you do?
Yeah.
It's a difficult situation to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Tell us what you think. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, toll free 242-300-5720. I don't know who that is. I don't know what that means. Can't read that. Okay. This person says it started late as well, right? No, I don't think so.
I think it started on time. Yeah. It was just a lot to put into that 5 to midnight time period. If you looked at the agenda, it was like, I don't know if any space was placed in between for wiggle room or for eventualities that you would not be able to control, but it was a pretty tight agenda. And sometimes we have to factor minutes in between each of those things just to help manage time in the event that things go awry.
Yeah. Wow. All right. More of your messages coming in. Having prayers for 30 minutes at a national event is silly and inappropriate. It was much more than 30 minutes.
Yeah, that was one prayer.
Much more. Yeah, one was very... Anyway, having multiple clergy with drawn-out speeches is silly and inappropriate. We seem to think that saturating every national event with religion will get us closer to God. It actually doesn't. Okay. Not a single religious speech has ever changed a single national problem in this country.
Yes, and I agree with the texter because to drive change, there should be proper examples of what that change should look like. People do what they see. And it's very easy to tune out what you hear, especially if what you hear doesn't align with what you see. And so how do we effectively reach people from a religious standpoint is a question that I think all of the pastors and ministers should really sit down and discuss, and perhaps listen to the population that's saying what you're doing is not effective, but here is how to reach. Because if your ultimate goal is serving and helping other people come to know God, then how they do that is dependent on the individuals in your congregation. But if we don't listen to the congregation, and in this case, that's all Bahamians now talking about the religious segment of the tattoo. If you don't listen to this feedback and make adjustments, you're going to further lose people.
Yeah,
you will.
I mean, would anyone have been upset if their denomination wasn't represented?
I don't think so.
I mean, they
really
probably
don't
did
think
meet.
so.
We have so many. They probably
we
did
do.
leave out a few.
Yeah, because there are a lot of them.
Yeah.
But you and I, we agree, and so many other people agree that there should have been a dedicated service for that aspect, because there are so many people who are Christian and would want that. And then there's the population that's saying, give us a little bit of that, and then let's move on with our program. So I think they would have been better received by people who willingly turned up for a religious event.
This one says here, the truth be told, you really can't blame the pastors because they had to take the opportunity to shine, because not many people would have shown up ordinarily to hear from any of them.
Well, I don't really agree with the texter, because you say a message doesn't mean anybody was listening. So, I mean, yes, it's a great opportunity. There are a lot of people there. But how do I effectively use this opportunity to speak in 10 minutes a message that would reach to people and pique their interest? Like, what has happened is a lot of people have been turned off versus turned on. So you don't grab that opportunity at the expense of everyone else. And I do understand that it's not all their fault. So I don't want to seem as if I'm placing all of the fault on them. There is partial responsibility and also self-awareness to say, hey, I'm over time, or this event is going over time. How can I pull back?
Oh, no, that wasn't going to happen. That wasn't going to happen. If they had to, they would have talked straight through midnight to 2 a.m., I guarantee you, if it came to that. Anyway, what is independence to the average Bahamian? Nothing, since it is structured on an economic system based on exploitation of the masses. Oh, boy. There cannot ever be true independence without economics. This is a downer text. The celebration was nothing more than entertainment for silly black folks.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
That's deep.
Wow. The Bahamas is a country filled with hypocritical actions of its leaders.
Wow, that's deep.
Oh, you're very...
Yeah. That's deep. But it's about culture. It's about recognizing that we hit a milestone of 50. And things aren't perfect. They aren't perfect. But that doesn't mean that things shouldn't be celebrated. We celebrate small successes all the time. Things can be better, yes. But there have been some good things that happened over the years. And some people don't know all of what we have come through. If you're young, you may not know the struggles to get to independence. And yes, there are more things that can happen to become a bit more independent for the development of nation, for the development of citizenship. I totally agree. And so not celebrating, I think, would be a downer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It would be a downer. I mean, we celebrate our lives. I turned 50 this year. I celebrate it. Is everything perfect? No. But, you know what? I'm happy at all of the things that occurred over 50 years of life. So that's really the perspective.
That's a great point. So what would you have had people do, Texter? Just like what? Say, yeah, we haven't fixed everything yet, so we can't do anything. We're just going to wear black and mourn. What are you saying? But okay, interesting. A couple more messages before we take another break. This person says here, tell the Junkanoo Committee, take a page from them, no long gaps. Yeah, I mean, the show was tight, despite the things that are padded onto it. It was a tight, moving show and quite entertaining. And, I mean, I can't believe I watched from 5 till after midnight. I don't know, but it was that good.
So, let's be real. Like, if you go to Junkanoo, year after year, we have Junkanoo all throughout the year, there are certain expectations Like, you know it's going to be long. You know there's going to be... I'm not saying we should not work to improve those things, but you go out with the expectation that, you know what, there may be a lull between groups.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those groups are massive. Yes, it could be fluent, but at the same time, history is a great predictor of the future. So...
Oh, boy. Oh, can't get used to that. Cannot get used to those big, long gaps. Sorry. Not going to accept
And they're
it.
long.
They're very long.
They're long.
It's like you forget where you are. Like, oh, I'm still here.
Yeah. They're going to happen.
No. We're going to fix that. One day, we're going to get it. We're going to
We'll
say
work towards
these same
that.
groups who didn't make it to the ecumenical service, to the big tattoo, or we'll put some of them in the middle there.
Yes.
All right? To entertain the crowd between the acts. How about that?
How about that?
But, yeah. All right, let's go to the break. As we go, this text here, I totally agree with the cynical text. Most things we do are for show. Another one here, I know we're not where we think we ought to be, but could more of us assist in nation building, et cetera, except for just sitting back and complaining?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. This is Morning Blend, Bahamas. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Hey, Reckon Scott! Miami! Woo! Come on! Bring it! Woo! Oh, go! Woman pull up to Miami airport door with the biggest box I ever saw. She said, take this down to Bahamas there. You get a big tip once you get it there. Nah, you know, I just wait for tips, but it's this wait me broken up my hip. I ain't macho, I got a thing to prove, but this the biggest box that I ever tried to move.
Water and Sewage Corporation wishes to advise the public, its customers, and the residents of Wilton Street off Mackey Street, inclusive of side corners, that there may be an interruption to their water supplies between the hours of 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on June 12th, 2023, for a total of 6 weeks to perform new main installation on Wilton Street. During this period, there may also be road closures and detour around the work areas. Motorists are asked to avoid this area between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. The corporation apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and appreciates your support as they work to improve their level of service.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you want to go scuba diving on your vacation, don't bedazzle your wetsuit. And you think you look great, but what you don't realize is that you look like a shiny, scaly fish. And it won't take long for a shark to notice you. Next thing you know, you're busting out every karate move you got. But if you're smart, you'll have CG medical insurance and get airlifted out to the closest hospital.
Get coverage for emergency evacuations. CG Atlantic Medical and Life Insurance. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
There's a new electric vehicle in town. The Jack brand of SUVs, trucks, sedans, and commercial vans. Available only at Easy Car Sales, home of the fully electric vehicle. For a powerful, smooth ride at a fraction of the cost to drive, leave the pump behind and hit the road with Jack. Visit easy242.com to see our brand new Jack models and drop into Easy Car Sales for a test drive. It'll have you singing. Hit the road with Jack, and don't you pump gas no more.
The Bahamas Public Parks and Public Beaches Authority invites all private companies and civic organizations to adopt a roundabout. This is your chance to stand out from the crowd, beautify and enhance our local areas for residents and tourists alike, just in time for the 50th anniversary of our independence. With this opportunity, you can engage persons on the go, generate media interest, and promote your company. Stand out and celebrate 50. For more information, you can call 242-604-3750.
A lot of folks are wondering, what is the Agrarian Awards? It's an award show to celebrate the people who produce the food that feeds the country. So September 16th, we're giving out trophies and money to young farmers, backyard farmers, sheep runners, goat herders, pea pickers, onion planters, basically everyone. But we couldn't fit all that on the invite, so we put Agrarian Awards instead. Go to adobahamas.org to find out how to nominate your favorite agrarian. The Agrarian Awards, September 16th.
We're gonna give you a check every week for a year. Percy's pension plan, Island game, keep you winning. Percy's pension plan, dream big, we will help you live it. Percy's pension plan. plan. Island game, we got you. Percy's pension plan. From the friends you can trust. If winning is a must, come play the game you know, cause your best chance is with us. The most trustworthy name is Percy's Island Game. So put 20 on your account and ride this easy train at Percy's Island Game.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Nassau is the capital, Bahamas. Bimini is the gateway, Bahamas. 1492, Columbus landed. 1973, we were free. From Nassau to Inagua, Bahamas. From Freeport to Mequona, Bahamas. Tourists love our country, Bahamas. 700 islands, Bahamas. Happy Independence, Bahamas. Happy anniversary, Bahamas. Happy Independence, Bahamas. Golden anniversary, Bahamas. Regarding in Tacoma, Bahamas. Fishing in Long Island, Bahamas. Sailing on the Melbourne, Bahamas. Diving Conch and West End, Bahamas. Peas and rice and fried fish, Bahamas. Pineapple from Lucre, Bahamas. Flamingo from Inagua, Bahamas. That island started Rica's Grey, Bahamas. Happy Independence, Bahamas. Happy anniversary, Bahamas. Happy Independence, Bahamas. Golden anniversary, Bahamas. Nassau is the capital, Bahamas. Bimini is the gateway, Bahamas.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with Duke Quesadine, my guest co-host today. We are talking about what's in the news, getting a reaction to the big stories in the news. In a few minutes, we're going to change gears to just some really disturbing stories. We talked about this already. The woman who was sexually assaulted, the 82-year-old woman in her home. And what police are saying, they're urging members of the public to check on their older female relatives to make sure their homes are properly secured. But there's some other disturbing stories in the paper today. We're going to get to those in just a bit. But we want to wrap up the conversation on this. So not many of you are commenting on the foreign dignitaries getting honored. So I guess everybody's cool with that.
I don't know if to say cool. We'll go with that. I think the prevailing thought is at the length of the religious segment of the tattoo. I think there's more irritation with that.
Right.
And the honors that were given out.
And nothing about Kagame's record in Rwanda.
It would be interesting to know why the award was given, some more details. Yeah, it would really be interesting to know what the criteria is. Right? Transparency. Oh, what you think?
No, I agree. It was just very almost random.
Yeah.
Almost random.
Yeah, I would really like to know what was the criteria. And that would have actually, because it's Bahamian, that would have been an opportune time to give honors to two Bahamians.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because
they
we're
didn't
celebrating
do any on
50.
the stage.
Right. So that would have been better.
That's very interesting.
And give those people their honors at another occasion in time. But
they wouldn't get to speak there, though, I can tell you that.
Right. But that would have been, people that Bahamians could connect with, that they would know that, like for me, I'm trying to figure out, okay, what did this Rwanda, like what is the connection? Am I not following the news to know, what merits that Medal of Honor? I would really like to know. So but if there had been two outstanding Bahamians being given this award, the crowd could have really been a bit more engaged and involved and understanding of the fact that this threw 30 minutes extra onto the program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Again, we said it yesterday. Want to congratulate the independent secretary, though. The number of events, the variety of events, it's been amazing, and it continues now. And Leslie Miller Bryce and her team need to be celebrated for that. This is, in the grand scheme of things, a minor issue, but we do need to be seen to be learning. Right, because I know next year it's going to be the same thing. 200 pastors up on the stage, taking up an hour.
Should
right?
we pray for change?
As she takes a sip. Oh boy. Yeah. Definitely. Let's see what this caller has to say. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning.
Hi.
And good morning to you again.
Good morning.
Listen, I'm wondering, do they do honors in those persons' countries?
What do you mean, for Bahamians?
No, yes.
Probably.
Yeah. More than likely.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to figure out why they have to, be honored, especially on our independence. I'm pretty sure we are not sharing independence with anyone. So, I sure they could have found 4 more Bahamians, or they could have just given it to Dwight for doing such a thing.
Don't hold your breath for that.
Dwight.
Don't hold your breath. Yeah.
Because I'm curious, why did we have to honor foreigners on our Independence Day? And even if they do it like privately, but they did it on the day and time of our celebration. That's tasteless to me. There's something wrong there. I don't kind of like that. That part kind of threw me off. I got up and I left and went home. Because that
at that point.
Tasteless to me. Yes, shortly after that point, I got up and left.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bit.
Because I felt like there was something wrong.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
I didn't feel like that was right. And like I said, it's our independence. So whatever you do should have been connected to a Bahamian, unless those persons are Bahamian.
No, they're
not.
They're definitely not.
Yeah.
No. Interesting. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Wow. This text here was no explanation given why they were honored, and yes, only Bahamians should have been honored on this occasion. Yeah.
And that's another leadership lesson, because a lot of times leaders do things without giving explanations, and people deserve to know the why behind the what. So when the lady came to announce these awards, there could have been these awards are being given because or for that, and that way people can understand.
Another 30, 20 minutes or so to explain. This person says, what I have a problem with is giving honors to the same dead people every year. Whoa. How many honors should a dead person keep getting every year, every holiday? Wow. Okay. We'll pick this up on the other side of the news. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay tuned. Bahamas.
From Nassau to Inawa, Bahamas. From Freeport to Mequona, Bahamas. Tourists love our country, Bahamas.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. Also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. And now at 8:17, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here's what's happening. We've got A ridge of high pressure that continues to dominate weather across the country, along with a thin layer of Saharan dust. And a surface trough near the extreme northwest Bahamas will support some light shower activity across the islands through tonight. Beachgoers in the southeast Bahamas should be alert, as there's a threat of rip currents along east and south coast beaches. And Saharan dust lingering over the area could continue to present a risk for those who have allergies or respiratory issues. And the heat index, again, will be in the triple digits, so stay hydrated and limit outdoor activities during peak sunlight hours. All right, so for all areas today, forecast calls for sunny, hot, and humid conditions with isolated showers or thunderstorms, becoming fair and warm at night with the chance of isolated showers. Expect breezy conditions in the southeastern islands. Smallcraft caution remains in effect for the southeast Bahamas. Temperatures today getting up to around 93 Fahrenheit, 34 Celsius, but the heat index will make it feel like it's 107 Fahrenheit, 41 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to a very warm 80 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. We are currently at 86 degrees under partly cloudy skies, and it already feels like it's 98. So keep that in mind for today. In your extended outlook, high pressure will slide to the east as the northern end of a tropical wave expected to move across the southern islands on Thursday evening, then continue across the central Bahamas on Friday, will produce some showers and thunderstorms. And the surface trough near the northern islands will continue to enhance shower activity over the extreme northwest Bahamas. So for Thursday, tomorrow, partly sunny and hot with a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the northwest and southeastern islands. Breezy in the southeast as well. For Friday, variably cloudy and hot with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, breezy in the central and southeast Bahamas. In the tropics, we're watching an area of a low pressure producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms several hundred miles northeast of Bermuda. Environmental conditions are forecast to be marginally conducive for some development, and a subtropical or tropical depression could form during the next few days while the system moves generally eastwards back into the Atlantic. By the weekend, the low should turn northward, bringing the system over cooler waters. That would likely limit additional development. Formation chance through the next 7 days is about medium, 50%. And elsewhere, tropical cyclone formation not expected during the next 7 days. That's your morning blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Visit firstonlineinsurance.com and select a Bahamas First agent to purchase, pay, or renew your car or home insurance 100% online, or just stop by any Bahamas First agent. Bahamas First, celebrating 40 years as the first Bahamian general insurance company. What's first for you comes first for us. 8:21, the time for another check of your traffic for the morning. Brought to you by RBC. Get in gear with an RBC auto loan. In your real-time traffic, things are getting busier on Mile Butler Highway from Fire Trail straight up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway. This is the northbound lanes there. Over on Gladstone Road, looking a little bit better, but about midway between Fire Trail and JFK Drive, you'll see that traffic in front of you, heading northbound. Blue Hill Road, still busy, just north of Soldier Road on the way to Independence Drive in the northbound lanes, and some building traffic near the Blue Hill Carmichael Junction. Shirley Street, again, looking busy for you from about Montague straight up to Mackey Street, even west of Mackey Street. That's westbound, so slow going there. This is the second morning we've noticed that. So keep that in mind if you're in that part of the island. That's what we're looking at. That's your real-time traffic, and that's your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/gear up for an RBC auto loan.
truck. That's the sound of your horn. Get in gear with an auto loan. RBC makes it easy to get your own.
Get in gear with an RBC auto loan with up to 100% financing, extended repayment, and low interest rates. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/gear up. Conditions apply.
That's the sound of your car or truck. That's the sound of your horn. Get in gear with an auto loan. RBC makes it easy to get your own.
Introducing Wendy's new Chimichurri Cheeseburger. Chimichurri. That's how you pronounce it. Let it roll off your tongue. Then get ready for some ridiculously good flavor. Fresh, herby, garlicky, green, chimichurri. It'll feel like a relaxing backyard get-together with friends on a Sunday. Put in a burger. Come meet Wendy's new Chimichurri Cheeseburger with our new Dave's Craft Lemonade. Wendy's, different inside and out.
We're gonna give you a check every week for a year. Percy's Pension Plan. Island game, keep you winning. Percy's Pension Plan. Dream big, we will help you live it. Percy's Pension Plan. Island game, we got you. Percy's Pension Plan. From the friends you can trust. If winning is a must, come play the game you know, cause your best chance is with us. The most trustworthy name is Percy's Island game. So put 20 on your account and ride this easy train at Percy's Island Game.
Total Auto Care on Howard Road offers fast, quality auto maintenance at the very best prices. Tune-ups, oil changes, brakes, suspension, wheel alignments, radiators, water pump replacements, and more. Need quality brand name tires for your vehicle? Tires that'll stand up to these roads? No worries. We supply Michelin, BF Goodrich, Bridgestone, Pirelli, and Toyo. We'll import them fast and install them for you at no extra cost. So when your car needs maintenance or quality tires, we're on Howard Road, just before Burger King. Come see us. Total Auto Care. Call us at 341-6599 or 341-2350.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And I say, boy, my island's in the sun, 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 sun. Bring it up now. And I say, boy, my island's in the sun. Carnival time is here. Cause when I turn to party, this love and they got me wet. So, boy, my island's in the sun. Carnival time is here. We got me taken straight in, winding up and misbehaving.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with my guest co-host today, Duquesa Dean, filling in for Chester Robards. And we've been talking about what's in the news this morning. Okay, so we're going to move on from the questions about the foreign dignitaries who were honored at the independence celebrations and the unplanned elements that caused the show to run over and caused some Bahamian acts to get cut as the pastors prayed. And prayed and prayed and prayed. So we'll leave that there. All right, so there are a lot of other disturbing stories in the paper today. We already talked about this earlier, about the 82-year-old woman who was sexually assaulted in her home. Police appealing to members of the public to check on their elderly relatives, especially female relatives, to ensure that their homes are secure, that it's not easy for predators to get in their homes. Boy, and this is second time in a few weeks that something like this has happened. So very, very disturbing.
It is very disturbing.
Yeah.
I mean, an elderly woman who is almost defenseless against you.
Yeah.
What about an elderly woman could excite you? All right.
Well.
So there's a lot to consider when we think about that sort of. Those sorts of events happening, and it's becoming more and more prevalent, not just of the elderly, but generally toward women.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This other story, you heard about this in the overnight. This is a very, very disturbing. Our T.Z. Davis writing about it. A principal sentenced to 7 months in prison for indecent assault of student. A principal who's also a pastor.
Bahamas.
Yesterday sentenced to 7 months imprisonment and given a $1,000 fine after he was convicted of indecently assaulting a student. 54-year-old Thomas Nottage would spend an additional 6 months behind bars if he fails to pay the fine. He was also ordered to pay $500 in compensation to his victim. Failing to do so would result in him serving an extra 6 months in prison.
What is indecent assault?
Well, wait till you hear this. Following a trial, Chief Magistrate Joanne Ferguson Pratt convicted Nottage of indecently assaulting the then 13-year-old student by kissing her. The incident happened at the office of Grace Christian School of Excellence on October 29th, 2020, where Nottage served as principal. The student testified that on the date in question, Nottage called her into his office after school hours and told her that he loved her. He hugged her and kissed her on the lips before he tried to intimately tongue kiss her.
A 13-year-old child that you're supposed to nurture and protect?
Principal and pastor.
Right, like in a position of authority. Talk about taking advantage of a young child. And the conviction is light. And I mean, in my opinion.
Wow. During his testimony, Nottage admitted that he called the student to his office and that while there he hugged her. However, he denied that he kissed her. Nottage said that the accusations were a malicious attempt to ruin him. He said the student was upset with him because he had spanked her on the bottom for being disruptive during a mock BJC exam.
But why did you hug her? I want to understand. Why did you hug her? If you just reprimanded her and she's upset because of that, why would you place yourself in a position of suggested intimacy to be taken advantage of? That's a question that I would love to have a response for. And why have a student in your office without another authoritative figure from the school present as well?
He said that during a subsequent meeting with the child and her mother, he informed them that the student's scholarship was revoked. He said that he had not decided whether she would be suspended or expelled. In her decision, Ferguson Pratt reasoned that there was no need for Nottage to call the student into his office alone, just what you're saying, Duquesa, after school hours, as he had already met with her mother. She said she believed the student's testimony over Nottage's. Nottage faced a potential maximum sentence of 3 years imprisonment. However, his lawyer, Keith Seymour, asked the court to impose a non-custodial sentence. Ferguson Pratt said that Nottage breached a position of trust and that a prison term was warranted. She told Nottage that with time off for good behavior, he could be released from prison by November 20th. What? Okay.
Very interesting. Which do we have a sexual predators list?
No.
Does that now place him in a position of being on a list that people would be aware? No. Wow.
But they'll know his name. They won't forget that, I'm sure. Wow, that is crazy. Crazy stuff there.
Insanity.
And then there's another one. A father accused of sexually abusing his teenage daughter.
No, man.
A father accused of sexually abusing his teenage daughter was yesterday remanded to prison. Prosecutors say the 39-year-old man, whose name has been withheld to protect the complainant's identity, had sex with his then 15-year-old daughter during August 2021.
What makes you find your daughter sexually attractive?
This is obviously mental health issue.
And the sad reality, Dwight, is perhaps there is more of this happening within our communities that people are not speaking out against or protecting.
Happening.
Yes,
this has been happening,
and that's it. A stronger stance has to be taken, and I believe that the consequences of these actions are still being treated too lightly in our community as well. A father to a daughter that you are supposed to take care of and protect, There's just no excuse for that. There can be no excuse for that.
Wait now. It gets worse.
Oh, no.
So this is his 15-year-old daughter in 2021.
Okay.
And then in June 27th of this year, she's 17 now. And he's further accused of having sexual relations with her then as well.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. The father was not required to enter pleas to the charges of incest when he made his first court appearance before Magistrate Shaka Serville. The man returns to court in November to receive a voluntary bill of indictment. Bail was denied because the magistrate lacks authority to consider bail. However, he can seek bail in the Supreme Court.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, it's disheartening. That's the best word that I can use. And like you said, this has been happening for years upon years, you know, maybe longer than our 50 years of independence. And I think that we definitely need to become more progressive in terms of how we help men deal with their sexual urges and being sexually responsible instead of placing all of the responsibility on women. Now, you know, I'm a woman, so of course I'm going to say that, you know, because, there'll be people who would say, well, she probably seduced him or she probably asked for it or, you know, in both cases, they're minors.
The daughter.
Right. And that's how warped the mentality of people can be. So we definitely need to have more support for men. Men need to have safe spaces where they can talk about what their challenges are and be rehabilitated. It's not just the woman's responsibility, but it's sickening. It's nauseating that you would find a 13-year-old as a grown man sexually attractive and that you would find your own daughter, regardless of her age, but this child being a teenager, attractive and abuse her in a way that will probably scar her for the rest of her life.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Hey, let's get your reaction to it, folks. And you made some great points, especially with the principal, right? You got to be careful. You've always had to be careful, but especially these days. And I don't think principals with girls even, boys as well, you need to be there with another adult just to make sure that someone else can verify what you're saying. This is where we are at in the world, and you have to be careful. Let's hear from you. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. 422-4796. Yeah, oh boy. Don't blame the judges for these light sentences for sexual assault or abuse against women and girls. Blame the female lawmakers serving in Parliament now. Wow.
They just got into term. I go back to the Constitution where the laws are set. I think the judges, in some instances, do have lenient sentences. I also know that they're governed by laws. And those laws need to change for the amount of time someone can get in exchange for their offense. So I think it really goes back to what's on the books. What are the guiding laws that the judges have? Like for sexual offense, if I see someone get 7 years, the judge may have given the maximum. But I do agree with the texter that we do need to revisit some of the laws for consequences and punishment of crimes like these.
Yeah, and I think we know that it's not quite how it works here. I mean, they can lobby. It's a small group, though.
Yeah, it
is.
A
very small group.
It is.
And we seem to have some reluctance with adjusting these laws across the board. But yeah. 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. This text says, there are sick-minded fathers out there who believe that they should be the first man to have sex with their daughters. This is unfortunately not as rare as we would like to think. The penalty should be the severest possible and require mental therapy.
Rehabilitation is an important part of the process. I absolutely agree. But I also start to think about what is it that drives men to be so sexual towards women despite their age. Like, what is it? What are you thinking? Like, really? What are you thinking if you see a blooming 11-year-old who's just coming into puberty that makes that attractive to you? Like, can men take a bit more responsibility for thinking outside of just that part of the body that excites them, but engage in mental conversation that balances that, okay, wow, when she gets older, she may be this versus I want to have that now.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sorry, I know you're a man. But
no, that was a very good question. There's a clearly, right, you've seen that before, you see it, you're driving behind a car, and this is clearly a 10-year-old, 11-year-old.
Right.
And the folks in front of you are craning their necks looking back at this child and like, this is very sick.
It's sick.
It's very sick. But,
and we have to call these people out. We cloak them. And I'm saying cloak because we know what exists in our families. We know what we see within our families. And so we've
heard the horror stories.
Yes.
Where mothers are pushing these girls on to older men as well. So there's a lot of terrible stuff going on.
And then when young people or when women speak about this sort of abuse, there's a huge lashback at them versus having more support for going through, what they go through. I remember not so long ago, a young lady spoke about an experience with her father where she was continually abused sexually. And there was a big drama within not only her family, but the community because he was, a big thing in the community and very little support for the then teen young girl. So the perversion needs to be addressed.
It's sick. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
Good morning, TVS. I wanted to ask this question when we talk about our laws. Most of our leaders most of them were lawyers. Lawyers always want to win their case, so sometimes I figure they fix these laws to make it possible to win these cases on technicalities, whatever else have you. But what I try to find out now when it comes to the death penalty, which is still on our books, we say it's still there. But we hardly ever hear about the death penalty because there's something called the only way you could get the death penalty if it's the voice of the voice. Years from that came out, Dwight, I have never heard anybody explain to me what is the voice of the voice. Does that mean you have to kill a prime minister or a governor general or the wife of an elite or some big muck-a-muck is the voice of the voice? If you kill a child, if you kill your neighbor, if you kill anybody, isn't that the voice of the voice? What could be worse than death? Now, I could understand if it wasn't intentional or the difference between murder and manslaughter. But if you intentionally, you and I arguing today, Dwight, I leave you at the bar, I go home, look for my gun, I come back, meet you at the bar, and I riddle you full of AK-47 bullets, tell you can't move, and walk away. I said, that's the voice of the voice. And then this fella get off with bail. What is the voice of the voice? How come the lawyers can't tell us what is the voice of the voice?
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying, Dwight?
Yeah, definitely.
Why they can't tell us, what is this definition, the voice of the voice? Mm-hmm. What does that mean? What is the voice?
Yeah.
Nobody can ever answer that to me. Why can't nobody give me an answer?
Some things have been suggested, but it isn't written in stone what is to be considered worst the worst. And
so can a lawyer, a judge, a chief justice, a magistrate, can somebody right to the top of KC or something give us an answer, a description?
Well,
what
the
is
legal
the voice
community
of the
needs
voice?
to come together. They do need to come together, and the lawmakers to decide. Yeah. But what has happened? We've had some situations that seem like the worst of the worst, but we've seen it where the director of public prosecutions did not decide to pursue the death penalty. And people say, well, clearly this is the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
So that's happened too. So it's up, even if it is considered the worst of the worst, you need the DPP to go along with that and say they've just been trying to go for life.
Yeah, for life.
Right?
Maybe. And we know how the backlog of the judicial system exists now. Mm-hmm. I'm certain that there's a lot more that can be done. What I concretely know, though, is that in the absence of consequence, there's no change.
Yeah.
And so if people know that they can get away with things or just get a tap on the hand, then what's there to stop them from doing what they're doing.
Yeah. Some interesting messages. Someone says, how young girls are found sexually attractive could have something to do with how we dress. No, see, don't do that, though. Act as women. Whoa. And find cute when children imitate them. Oh, boy. Opening a can of worms there. Well, people are going to say, oh, boy, oh, boy.
Which, I spoke to earlier, putting that full responsibility back on the woman. I agree with the texter that there could be a bit more modesty in how we put ourselves out there as women, but modesty, again, it's subjective. And
it's women saying this, folks.
Yeah.
So just don't, right? It's women
That's
saying
exactly
that,
what I'm saying.
I'm not saying it.
So
they're saying it. Oh, boy.
Yeah,
they're going to come for you, though.
But we have to support women. Like, if a woman decides that she's going to go out in a mini skirt.
She's already started.
She's going to go out
She can't be serious.
I'm very serious.
Oh, boy.
You can only be responsible for your own behavior. And because you feel that you're dressed a particular way doesn't make you a piece of meat for all the men out there. Men need self-control.
Mm-hmm.
Men need to learn how to deal with theirs. Okay, yes, I agree. In some instances, what we wear can stimulate a man. But even though it stimulates the man, it doesn't make the man make the decision to pursue. Mm-hmm. The decision happens in his head. Mm-hmm. So, yes.
There's enough responsibility to go around? Or
there's enough. There's on both sides. So, a woman could see a man out in a Speedo. Does she hop him because he is showing, all of his skin?
I'm sure it's happened before.
Okay, but I mean, come on.
I'm sure.
It's not all one person's responsibility.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right. This person says the majority of these laws on the books were written by men and for men. Please, the issue is not with these deranged men. The point is that there are no consequences for the depraved actions of these sick predators. Fix the laws, increase the penalties. Okay. This one says here, now that's why we need these prayers. Those stories. Well, I guess they shouldn't have stopped. Let them go back out there and keep going. Wait. This person says here, caller, we'll get to you in a second. We'll get to you in a second, caller. And this one says here, great show us for the school headmaster. Let's just hope he experiences hugs and kisses during his 7 precious months at the Fox Hill prison. Oh, boy.
What a punishment.
Y'all are not nice. Not nice. This one says here, I feel like I shouldn't have read that one. Shouldn't have read that. Boy. Anyway, let's address the elephant in the room. There's a culture that actually encourages fathers sleeping with their daughters, and it's not Bahamians.
Wow.
We all know which culture that is. We need chemical castration. Also, plenty government officials would be on that predator list. That's why it will never happen.
I plead the fifth.
Wow. This behavior by the pastor or pastor/principal is part of the reason why we don't tune in to a half-hour Jubilee religious broadcast that will say nothing new, or 2 hour, 1 to 2 hour Jubilee religious broadcast. If Jesus is our example, he spoke succinctly and spent more time feeding and healing the poor. This is not about sexual urges. This is perversion. Also, who disciplines any child at age 13 on their rear?
Who is not yours in an office by yourself?
That's crazy. Hey, Dwight, there's a huge pothole, in the right lane before you get to the entrance of Standard Plumbing, and that's causing the traffic buildup on Shirley Street. It's backed up all the way to Montague. You're trying to say that? I mean, I know. What? That's a long distance.
That's a big pothole. I travel that way.
Backed up to Montague?
No, I don't do morning traffic, but I know that the pothole is really big, and so cars are trying to avoid it. So I could see you trying to get in the next lane to not drop in this sinkhole.
Sinkholes, right.
Wow.
By the way, a couple weeks ago I mentioned that they were having a pothole convention on Eastern Road, and I think that they finally paved all the potholes. They filled in the potholes. They're not paving, apparently.
Well, those conventions are starting to happen all over the country.
Oh, boy. But somebody, a couple days after I said that, then
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was me.
Well, if you're listening today,
yeah.
we're having
Shirley
more and
Street.
more conventions.
Shirley Street is a disaster.
Yeah.
Anyway, they go on to say, on a lighter note, I was pleasantly surprised to hear your co-host mention her age. She's a keeper, Dwight. Her energy presents as someone half her age.
Thank you.
Because you act younger, they want to keep you. You see how they are? Boy, I tell you.
boy.
I tell you.
Thank you.
You definitely sound very young.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. Happy Independence and
Hi.
the rest of it.
Yes, good morning.
I interpret the laws. I listened to BBC News, and there was a situation that I overheard that the age of consent is 16. So I'm wondering if that's the reason why we have our age of consent at 16 as well.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's all my contribution this morning.
You got to do whatever they do. Thank you. That's how it works. But 16 for some people, not all. Mm-hmm. This one says here, Dwight, consider this. We all know there are three sides to every story. Yeah. Three, your side, their side, and the truth. I've had issues with my wife, and her recollection of what happened is totally different from mine. What if the principal really didn't kiss the girl on her mouth? What if the student exaggerated the story, which is believable, in retaliation for losing the scholarship? His reputation is forever ruined. I hope the judge got it right.
Well, I mean, that could be a possibility, Dwight. However, at the same time, the principal should have taken his reputation and his position of authority into consideration and ensure that there was a witness in the room as well. So, I mean, it is a possibility, and that's why you go before a judge, and that's why you have a pool of jurors to discuss these things as well. So those are all possibilities. Mm-hmm. So I know in hindsight, he may be thinking that, I should have protected myself.
And everybody listening now, if you are a disciplinarian, again, remember this. Girls and boys, you need to have somebody else there with you.
Yes.
Just to verify that you did not slap this student, you didn't do whatever, you didn't say this, you didn't do that.
Correct.
Right? This is the era we are in now.
Right. And
Protect yourself.
Parents get harder. You touch their child, that's a war, all out war. So protect yourself.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm not going to read that. No, that's.
I just love watching you go through the text messages.
This one says here, it's clear these people are sick. They're really, really sick. And the judge giving that so-called pastor a slap on the wrist is sickening. Well, I mean, I think you have to take into consideration what the previous texter said as well, right? That there's a possibility that, there are many different sides to the story. So it's tricky. It's sad. Imagine if we were really concerned about actually investigating the incest, child exploitation, I think you're trying to say, and sexual shanty towns, where this is coming from. Which illegal immigrant is going to run to the police?
Dwight, what's so sad is that when women report crimes, they are put on trial. So it doesn't matter whether they are legal resident or not. And I imagine being an immigrant in a vulnerable situation like that would cause you to think that there is no recourse because, you're looking for a better way of life. And so, that's disheartening to recognize that you can be abused and feel that you have no power. Yeah. And then when you hold on to your power and do something about it, there are people who are paid to make you look like the villain so that the person that actually did the crime gets off lightly.
Wow. This one, oh boy. This one says, your guest is being ignorant. She talks about men as if they're all the same, but can't acknowledge the female predators and tell them to behave. No, I don't think that's right. That's not what she said. No. None of that is correct. And she did acknowledge that there are female predators, yes. But the men, she's talking about men in these situations.
Right, the ones that we read out of the newspaper.
Control themselves, yes. Mm-hmm. This one says, while it's sickening that men do these things, it's always interesting to see the spotlight put on men. What about the woman from Andros who sexually assaulted a 13-year-old boy? Before anyone misses the point is that the disgusting men need to be punished, but what about the equally disgusting women?
They need to be
Or are we not
punished.
talking about that now? Yeah, why wouldn't we think they need to be punished?
They need to be punished as well.
Yeah, where you get the impression that people think it's a joke, it's cute. No, it's not, and that boy will likely have issues, scarred
His entire life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, everyone just needs to be responsible, male or female, with whatever desires that they have, that there aren't female predators.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's take a break. We've got a lot more of your messages, and we'll take more of your calls. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
All night, rum sipping, oh yeah. Boogie rolling, oh yeah. Drinks flowing, oh yeah. Meet new friends on the road, everybody glowing. Hey! Yeah, we know the sun is hot, but a little sun ain't gonna make me stop. We go wine and juke, drop it hot when the bassline drop. Now we say, time to replay. Throw your leg in the air, drop and juke, 'cause I say, the music's sweet. Horns and bells all over these streets.
Bahamas Games? What was the purpose of the games?
The purpose is twofold. One, to bring Bahamians from throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas together through sports. And the second, to find talented athletes throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to be trained and possibly make it to the Olympic level.
When the games is?
This July 7th to the 15th.
For more info, call 322-1029.
It's been 35 years since Custom Computers was founded, and we'd like to celebrate that milestone by thanking you, our clients and customers. You've inspired 35 years of expert service and support, partnering with the world's leading brands like HP, Apple, and Microsoft. We take pride in setting the bar for what you expect and deserve from a homegrown Bahamian business. We're here to serve you when you need us, so call 396-1101. Custom Computers, raising the standard since 1987.
Indulge in an experience that awakens your senses with Nescafe Gold. Premium Arabica coffee beans, carefully selected, roasted to perfection, and finely ground, resulting in a unique and unmatched flavor and aroma that captivates the senses. Enticing aroma, smooth taste. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold.
Tired of paying too many bills and loan payments each month?
Shrink your monthly debt payments down to one easy payment with our debt consolidation loan.
It also has a built-in savings that pays you 5% interest.
Inquire about our debt consolidation loans today.
Call 356-7764.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
I love you. You are my man and my friend, the beginning and end. Yes, it's true. I'm the and we move like one. I love you. You are my man and my friend, the beginning and end. Yes, it's true. I'm the rays, you're the sun, and we move like one. We were meant to be before there was anything that is. They ain't ready for this. Our love is divine, married by the one on high. We fly on cloud nine. Our love reigns supreme. I'm your queen and you're my king. Create a world of human beings with strength, integrity.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong along with Duquesa Dean on this Wednesday, getting more of your messages about what we've been talking about, the sexual assaults and incest cases that are in the news today. Getting your reaction to it. You can text us 422-4796. Tweet us at Morning Blend 969. Give us a call 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. This text here, I'm a father with two daughters whom I love to go to jail to protect them. Yeah. That was good. Did the previous texter have the temerity to suggest that a female who dresses a certain way is responsible for being raped? Did I wake up in 1909? Is there? Well,
I mean, come on.
No, that's what is always said, right? That's
Right.
that always comes up. What were you wearing? Oh, that's what you were wearing.
Or what
why
did
were
you
wearing
do, or
that?
how
Yeah,
did you
right,
act, or what
exactly.
did you do to because it?
Mhm.
And that's the reason why a lot of victims remain quiet, because they know that they go on trial. What
Yeah.
you wear shouldn't determine or shouldn't be the factor by which somebody else makes a
Right.
decision to invade your body
Yeah.
without permission.
And often the questions are conflicting questions. Like, did you look at him?
Right.
Did you not look at him?
Right.
Like both. Anything is going to get you into problems.
Correct.
Which is crazy, right? This one says here: many pastors, leaders, politicians, officers of the law are those who are committing. Well, I think it's across the board. People.
It's people.
Right.
It's
People.
people are people.
People.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. There is a Ministry of Education school discipline policy that he should have read. So maybe they already speak to that. Any judge that gives a predator only 3 years is questionable. Every day a murderer is let out to get murdered. So all of these judges need to be evaluated and even disbarred. And don't call a 13-year-old a woman. Children aren't mature enough to know how to dress. Parents have to step in. I don't know who did. Who did
Yeah.
that? Nobody did. But yeah, boy. Well, again, the judges, you'd be surprised, these are the laws. That you heard the story. That was the maximum.
The
he
max,
could have
correct.
done was 3 years.
In the capacity of his or her role as a judge, you can only dish punishment according to what's allowed. So it takes us right. How do we make amendments to the law to give stricter penalties for murder or rape or theft or whatever needs to be adjusted? It goes back to fixing the laws or adjusting the laws that were created, be it 50 years ago. They need to be adjusted. Yes.
100.
I'm just saying.
150.
Yeah, they need to come up
200-year-old
to,
laws.
yes.
Yeah, a lot of these laws were from the 1800s.
Yeah.
And early 1900s.
Need to be revisited.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. All right. Well, we're going to leave that there. We're going to break for news. When we come back, Morning Blend Business, we're talking with Access Accelerator, Small Business Development Center. A lot of exciting things going on with them. We'll get to that. Stay with us. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
If I waited for permission, time would continue to run by. I'd see all my dreams just fly, 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 fly away. If I listened to every voice, I'd never hear the one inside myself. I never play the hand that I was dealt, or see beauty in the pain. I will never stop striving. I will never stop trying.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Wednesday, July 12th, 2023. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan, joined by my special guest co-host today, Duquesa Dean. And this morning it's time for our twice monthly segment with Access Accelerator, Small Business Development Center. Always we have back with us Corporate Communications Manager, Michaela Munnings. Good morning. Great to see you. Great to have you with us. And we've got a two-parter this morning. We're going to be talking about the Women's Entrepreneur Grant Awardees, right? And then later we'll be talking about the youth program, the youth entrepreneurs that you have. And we're going to get to that in the second half. But with the Women Entrepreneurs Standalone Grant Program, we have Erlene Camille, founder of Journey TV. And we have Tanisha, did I pronounce it right? Pratt, founder of Plumbago House.
Good morning.
Good morning. Great to have you with us.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
All right. Okay, so Michaela, do we have Tanisha up? Yes? Good morning. Can she hear us?
Can you hear me?
There we go. There we go. Great to have you with us.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
All
Good
right.
to be here.
So, Michael, give us the background. What is this, the Women's Entrepreneurs Standalone Grant all about?
So this year we have been placing a...
Talk right into that mic.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This year we've been placing a strong focus on our guaranteed loan program, which is our flagship program at the SBDC, where you can access loan, grant, or equity funding of up to $500,000 for businesses. And so each month we've had a unique initiative that identifies a critical challenge for business owners and then helps to address it through our guaranteed loan program. And so one of the critical issues we knew were gender inequality. And so we launched the Women Entrepreneurs Initiative to help women entrepreneurs, but not just access capital, build a stronger support network, and be able to impact on a larger scale and address some of the concerns that they have just by being female entrepreneurs. And under that program, we had a standalone grant. And can I tell you, we were oversubscribed.
Oh, wow.
Oversubscribed.
Like, how many were you looking for?
Well, see, it's just based on the funding dollars.
Okay.
So we need to be able to utilize the funding that we have and, help as many people as possible. So I think we had over 1,200 applicants for this standalone grant.
Wow.
And this grant was special to us because the previous ones have been up to $5,000. This one was up to $10,000. We were able to successfully approve 87 applicants throughout Nassau and the Family Islands.
Wonderful.
And Erlene Camille and Tanisha happened to be two of those applicants in New Providence.
Congratulations
That's
to you
wonderful
both.
stuff.
Thank you.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned that there's some gender inequality. Let's talk a little bit more about that. Because some people are going to say, I don't know about this. But what do you mean exactly?
So under the initiative, we actually launched a survey, the Gender Inequality Survey. And this was to help, confirm the extent or the ratio to which women are discriminated based on their gender in the Bahamas. Some pretty good feedback from it, but also what was some of the takeaways. To give you an example, we had women who scored themselves 5 or higher in terms of their fear of failure. But then we also had women who scored themselves 5 or higher in terms of being able to impact and contribute to economic growth. And so while there were some disparities in different scores, we see that there's a need for more mentorship and more women to step out into entrepreneurship, because we had a strong ratio of women who took the survey who are in corporate Bahamas or gainfully employed and desirous of being a women entrepreneur and taking the lead. They have not done so. Wow. And so the survey brought some things that we already knew, but it highlighted some critical issues that we can be a voice for between the entrepreneur and the local government. And so I think that was something that we can be proud of based on the survey results.
All right, so before we get to Erlene and Tanisha, tell us some of the key characteristics of the people who did get the grants. What did they have in common? What made them stand out?
So The primary thing that sets you apart is the business plan. We always tell persons, in particular for the Women Entrepreneurs Grant, because we wanted to help these women, like I said, some of the challenges that they face, we didn't ask for a full-fledged business plan. They had to provide an executive summary. And so just having that, powerful two-pager, attractive, progressive, innovative ideas and concepts, because remember now, this can be startups or existing business owners. So that business plan is critical to setting you apart. So to qualify for the grant, there was 3 components. 1, you had to complete the gender inequality survey. And 2, you had to watch some training videos. So we put together a 6-part training video feature as a motivation and inspiration for these young women. And then you had to complete the application. And so that's where, some persons would have did 1 part and then didn't quite follow through, so they didn't meet the criteria for the grant. But definitely you would have had to upload an ID, a government ID, a passport, or state in the application the purpose for your funding, but also you would have to provide invoices, because we do not pay directly to the entrepreneur, we pay to your vendors. And that, I think it's just a systematic way of ensuring that you're really going to go through with the business idea, and just for transparency purposes.
And it sounds like it's putting in the work. You have to put in the work ahead of time.
So if you're going to do all of this sourcing, this vendor sourcing, and ensuring that you get the invoices and all of that good stuff, then you you really want this.
So what were some of the entrepreneurs? What type of fields are they in? What did we see?
We had so many. So we had professional services, food and beverage, lots of arts and crafts. So that was nice that we saw an uptick in arts and crafts. Some of our top funded industries are food and beverage, construction, tourism, and stuff like that. And so we were able to see, I think there was even a renewable energy business in there. So I think it was a really, really nice compliment. Early in being a creative and a TV personality, I think that was nice. So that's in production and media.
Yes.
And so we saw a really good compliment. Fashion and beauty, as well as, many women love, the lashes, the hair care, the body and skin care, estheticians. So those types of industries we saw a rise in from the normal food and beverage.
All right. Erlene Camille, let's begin with you, founder of Journey TV. I've seen your billboards all over the island.
Oh, wow. I'm embarrassed.
No reason to be. All right, so let's talk about this. What made you say, I should apply for this?
Well, first of all, the knowledge of it first, because we're out here, we're pushing as entrepreneurs, pushing our vision, and a lot of times we're doing it on our own, and we don't even know that there are resources out there for us. So once it was brought to my attention, I immediately jumped on it, and I was ready. I had everything, in line, business plan and everything, and I just went for it. I went for it, and thankfully, I was successful, right?
Yes. Tell us about your company. What do you need the funding for? How this is going to help you?
Well, Journey TV is obviously locally produced, but it's released across 15 countries via Tempo networks across the Caribbean, in the tri-state area of the United States, and of course we're on Zedna as well. We are in our 4th season, so this grant helps me to wrap up my post-production costs.
Excellent.
And also distribution. Again, like I said, we're distributed across 15 different countries, but we're looking to add to that list.
Yes.
So this has been excellent, for us. It's been a good push as well, because as entrepreneurs, we are pushing, man. We're doing it on our own, and to have SPDC step up in this way and assist us, I cannot express how much that means when you're standing alone and when you're walking alone. Yeah. So I want to publicly say thank you again to SPDC.
Nice, wonderful stuff.
Arlene, did the process with Liz, right? Did the process with them, with the application and all of that stuff, help you to bring more clarity to what you want for your company for the future?
So I will say that it was a stringent process. It helped to bring some precision to like direction and
Yes.
precision, and yes, so it did help in that area. Even though you know where you want to go, you have to, it's almost like sitting before a board, but you're not sitting before a board, so you better have all of your ducks in a row. So it did help with being more precise
Yes.
in the way forward.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you say in your fourth season now, you wrapped up shooting that, but now you're in the editing
Post-production,
process.
yes.
Okay. So when can we expect that out?
The end of August.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the future for Journey TV?
What is the future for Journey TV?
Besides adding other countries?
You want me to give away all my secrets? I will tell you what the vision is.
Mhm.
The vision is for Journey TV Media to have a studio where we can have creatives come in and we can offer them a facility to record high-end quality work and then distribute it out into the world.
Okay.
Awesome.
And that
Wonderful.
that is the long-term goal.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Janicia Pratt, Plumbago House. That's how you say it, right?
Yes,
Yes.
you said it correct.
All right. What is Plumbago House all about?
So Plumbago House is part of Creative Arts Agency, and it's also a production company. So we do our own production in the realms of literary publishing as well as event productions. So it's primarily focused on the creative arts arena. And the other half, which is the agency, is providing consultancy services for people that would need things aligned within that realm as well. So that includes editing, that includes commercial and brand writing. It includes creative direction, for example, if people need assistance with photography, with design, as well as content production.
Okay. Wow. How long have you been in existence?
So I actually informally, I started doing a lot of consultancy work when I was in university in 2020.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
And so I did it to pay the bills.
Mhm.
And I realized that, you know, I ship lifestyle. I enjoy the freedom of it and also being able to assist people with my natural gifts. So it began then informally. And the name hadn't quite come to me yet until I wrote my first literary collection, poetry collection entitled Blue. And in that realm, I was just sort of looking a lot at like different names, different things around the Bahamas, and I fell upon the Plumbago.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed so much aligned because of not only the color, but also like the healing and medicinal properties of it. I like the history of it, and I felt that it very much aligned with what I was doing through my own personal creative work and how I wanted to also be of service to other people.
Oh, wow. Okay. All on your own.
So I primarily subcontract when it comes to particular projects. I'm the director of it, so I'm the owner of it. Usually within the literary realm, I would focus on that aspect. So anything dealing with writing and communication, that is primarily me. And when it comes to actually producing more tangible products, for example, like a film, I would then get the assistance of people who are more technically technical experts in being able to produce the idea. But I would be the director. I would focus on the storyboard. I would tell them what to catch. I would be able to give that directorial eye. So I more so sit within the art and creative director aspect as well as the writer,
Wow.
primary writer and editor. Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Sounds exciting.
So how is this grant going to help you?
So much. I cannot be able to explain how many things we would be able to produce. Right now, currently, I am in the planning and execution of an annual concert, jazz and blues concert that we have entitled Winter Blues. So it infuses a lot of poetry, a lot of space and sound design, along with blues, live blues and jazz music and performance. So this grant helps me to be able to elevate what I did last year and to be able to include more creatives in this. So currently, right now, we're just in the planning phase of that and starting to now. It helps me to be able to use that money to be able to put on the production and to be able to market ourselves, and also to be able to invest in more equipment. Production equipment is not cheap at all.
Definitely not.
And transporting that is not cheap at all. So that helps with equipment. It helps with services that I would need. It helps me to get more hands on deck. So I'm very, very grateful for SBDC existing and having the Access Accelerator program, and primarily focusing on women, because it's one thing to be an entrepreneur and it's another thing to be a woman entrepreneur in this game where it's primarily dominated by men.
Wow. So it sounds like you have big plans for Plumbago House. Tell us what we can expect over the next 3, 5, 10 years.
Oh, I would love to see the production, particularly like Winter Blues. I would like to see that grow at a much larger scale where we would be able to include international artists. And I would also like to see us do more event programming, more creative arts discovery. I would like to see people witness and experience original, authentic Bahamian content and art that is just at a larger scale. I feel like as Bahamians, we're so innovative, we're so creative. Many of the friends that I know and work with, writers, singers, songwriters, we deserve to be seen by an international audience.
Yes.
My dream is to be able to use not only just the creativity, but also the vision to be able to make a way for more Bahamians to be able to export their talents abroad and be able to showcase that, whether it's locally or internationally.
Wow. Wow. Great stuff. Great stuff. All right. So
Sounds like these two need to get
yeah, I was thinking, I was pointing at you, Marlene. I think you two would work well together.
We'll definitely reach
Yeah.
out.
Yes.
All right. Wow.
What I hear is a lot of hope, Dwight, from both Erlene and Tunisia. Yeah, there's like this grant has given them an extra spur and excitement and hope for the future that somebody else also believed in their dream and their vision and is giving them funding to help bring that. So
absolutely.
Congratulations again to you both.
Thank you.
So, Michael, people are listening, I'm sure, and like, when's the next one? What do I have to do to be a part of this?
So you can access funding through our guaranteed loan program year round. Access that, you can log on to our website, accessaccelerator.org, or you can call our office at 461-7232, and we can connect you with an advisor or a representative that can help you get started. But when we talk about grants specifically, because I know some people, I don't want the loan, I want the grant, I just need something small, I just need a little boost since, Dorian, since COVID. Our next initiative that's coming up is actually the Youth Entrepreneurs Initiative, and we'll cover that in the second half of the interview. And so I'm excited about the offering that's under the Youth Entrepreneurs for persons 18 to 35.
Yeah. Can you say what the average grant was in this regard with the Women's Entrepreneurs Group?
So an interesting thing, so we want persons to know that while it was up to 10,000, you had some persons that only asked for what they need. So you had some persons that may have asked for 4,000, maybe even 2,500 based on the need. And so that's why we were able to help 87 persons. Because I think somewhere around maybe 60 would have been, an ideal number. And so I just want persons to know that not everybody just asks for something that they don't need. Sometimes persons just need an additional piece of equipment, and they're like, okay, if you can assist me with this, I'm good, and this will help me bring in more revenue. And so I think the average would fall probably about 5 or 6K, somewhere around the average request.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. Wonderful. All right. Very inspiring. All of you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Erlene
you.
Camille, again, with Journey TV, and Tanisha Pratt with Plumbago House. Keep up the great work.
Yes.
Keep
Thank
us
you.
posted. We'd
Thank
love
you.
to follow your journeys.
Yes.
And Michael Munnings, you're going to stick around.
Yes,
Yeah?
I will.
All right. This
Make
is...
sure you get connected.
Right, that's right.
I will be
Erlene
back.
and Tanisha. All right, wonderful stuff, wonderful stuff. We're going to take a break and be back. We're going to talk about the youth entrepreneurs.
Yes.
It's on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Bus Driver, I heard about your bus. How you drive it, careful, and never do you rush. Yes, the ride is nice, and everything is smooth. The atmosphere is friendly, and the music, it ain't good. I heard you
The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center is here to help small businesses throughout the entire Bahamas. To better serve you, we've made it easier to contact us. Call 461-7232, WhatsApp 359-0626 or 359-2394, email helpdesk@spdcbahamas.com, or submit a ticket when you visit our help center at accessaccelerator.org. The Access Accelerator, empowering small business.
Always on the go? Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardians anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
You've tried everything. ASUS with your mother's cousin's sister's auntie, and even hiding your money under your mattress. But is your money safe? Your Bahamian dollar deposit in a member bank or credit union is insured up to $50,000. If anything happens, your deposit up to the insured value will be returned to you thanks to Deposit Insurance. Visit Deposit Insurance Corporation at www.dic.bf.
Protection for your money guaranteed with DIC.
Doctors Hospital has reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. We understand that your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnoses and true personalized treatment begins. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next at doctorshosp.com.
There's a new electric vehicle in town, the Jack brand of SUVs, trucks, sedans, and commercial vans, available only at Easy Car Sales, home of the fully electric vehicle. For a powerful, smooth ride at a fraction of the cost to drive, leave the pump behind and hit the road with Jack. Visit easy242.com to see our brand new Jack models and drop into Easy Car Sales for a test drive. It'll have you singing. Hit the road with Jack, and don't you pump gas no more.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
My business couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity. It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it. My sales increased, and I can track my earnings. Get your credit card machine from Fidelity today. Call 356-7764.
It's back, the 25th annual Jeff Rogers Basketball Camp, July 17th through 28th, inside Kendall Isaacs Gym, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. for boys and girls 5 through 18. Sign up your child now at South Bahamas Seventh-day Adventist Office, Tonic Williams Highway, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's the Jeff Rogers Basketball Camp, July 17th through 28th at Kendall Isaacs Gym, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Special appearances by NBA stars. 25th annual Jeff Rogers Basketball Camp. It's back.
Beulah gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood.
We now large and in charge. So we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too?
Of course we can.
But we could be in deep trouble if they find out.
We need to, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami.
So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles.
Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal.
So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Oh, yeah. All right. My beautiful islands. I tell you. Never goes on holiday. Tell me why he made the Bahamas. If the good Lord never used to come this way, tell me why he made these islands. All the sun, all the peace, all the
And we are back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with Duquesa Dean. And we continue our discussion with Access Accelerator, Small Business Development Center. And we've got something special going on with youth entrepreneurs as well. Is this a workshop? Yep.
So this is another initiative.
Yeah, okay.
That's coming up late August launch. But when Charlie reached out to us for our director to be a part of her program, we thought it was right in line because we are actually in the planning phase for our Youth Entrepreneurs Initiative. And so we were happy to lend support to her for the Young Professionals Guide to Building Wealth.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So if you're just tuning in, that's Michaela Munnings, who's the Corporate Communications Manager with Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center. And I'm Sean. Great to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so tell us about it. Tell us about Char's Mind. What exactly is it all about?
So Char's Mind is a blog and a brand that I started back in university in 2016. It was originally just for me to vent about the struggles about navigating adulthood. And it transformed into this place where I provide inspiration and tips all about how to navigate adulthood and this new environment of trying to figure it out.
Where can I find it? Because I need some help.
I still need it.
Right.
So this is on Instagram.
All
So
right.
back in the pandemic, I started doing various Instagram live series. So I would bring people on to talk about insurance, talk about building wealth, to talk about mental health and different areas that I felt like were affecting young people so that young people could get their questions answered and so that we can feel like we're not in the journey alone. We have people there with us to support us and we just need the right resources in order to truly get the help that we need to survive
Wow.
and thrive.
Okay, all right. So tell us about how you became connected with 8th grade SBDC.
So earlier this year, I had my first event, which was a vision board brunch. And after that, I decided that I also wanted to do more to help young people. And I wanted to actually have an event to help them with financial freedom. So one of the things that I decided to do was to have a workshop on building wealth. And I tried to think about some speakers, so I wanted it to be not just one particular area, but to talk about starting a small business. So who better to talk about starting a small business than reaching out to the Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center?
Of course.
So I contacted them to find out whether the executive director would be available to speak, and they got back to me and they said that she was available. And from there, I reached out to them to figure out whether they would be able to partner with me to put on this event, and they were willing to do so. And Ms. Munnings has been an excellent help and support throughout this entire process.
Excellent. All right, so I want to come back to that in a second, but I want to go back. You said you were having a vision board brunch.
Yes.
Interesting. Let's talk about vision boards here. A lot of people, they use these. Is there a special method to doing this that
I think in terms of vision boards, you can't just do what you think other people are doing. You have to figure out what exactly works for you. Lots of times people just put pretty pictures on a board and they think that's it. But do these pretty pictures actually relate to you and what you're going through and what your goals are for yourself? So I believe with having that event, it was important for me to not just tell people to create these pretty boards, but to get down to the basics of what their vision for their life is, what their goals are, and what it is that they truly want to achieve. And from there, they were able to write down their goals before actually going on to creating. So from their goals, they were now able to put things on the board that truly related to themselves and what they were going through in that moment and what they wanted.
Wow.
The proper way to do it.
Right. So you clearly have a vision board.
Yeah.
And you're doing it. The rest of you have, Michael? You have, like,
I didn't
Duquesa?
do one for this year, but definitely I've done it in the past.
Yeah?
And I found it to be very beneficial and helpful. Now, to the persons that go to these parties or these brunches or functions, you create the board and then you just bring it in the house and rest it down. I mean,
ineffective.
Not effective, but I actually had mine up on the wall with the tack in the wall, and I was looking at that every day.
Yeah.
And if I think in one year in particular, if I had like 20 things on there, I got 10 of them accomplished.
Okay.
Just having that visual representation of, okay, this is my why. This is why I'm getting up today, because I could be sleeping.
Yeah.
And so
And mine is actually a 15-year vision board.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not just for 1 year, it's just casting further out into the future. And then with that visual, like, Michael has said, you
Closer.
walk past it every day, you look at it every day, and it just grounds you and it helps you to realize what you have accomplished. And as you accomplish, you can take off and replace. So it's like a complete moving piece of your journey throughout your life.
And what are these? Are they like professional stuff? This is stuff you have to do around the house.
It doesn't have to be
This is
professional at
what
all.
is-
I mean, I know some persons have done theirs on, a visual on the computer, and then they ended up either printing it out or saving it and just in their personal space. I love to get me that craft paper, and I love to get the magazines and
Cut it out, yes.
Yes, I love the picking of the different letters, the different texts, and
Yeah.
just the representation of things that
Wow.
I know that
Love,
I want
yes.
and I love.
Yeah.
And doing it together with us like-minded people.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I feel I went to one of those parties, but didn't really know too much of the persons at the event, and so it didn't. It wasn't like okay, this is a great vibe. But having that intimate, I did one at my house before with 4 persons, and that was super nice. And we were there almost all night, just talking and kind of even praying after we finished the vision board. So I think it's really.
And Charlie has it right. It starts with the goal and the vision being written out.
Yeah.
So it's not just sitting down like Michael is saying and cutting out a bunch of pictures. It's really with intention that you sit down and you work out what your goals are.
Yeah.
And then from those goals or from that vision, you get into creative mode and find the pictures to match the goals. So it's not just a party. It's not for wine and champagne only. It's actually
Right.
real work.
I'm curious, what were some of the things? Can you share some of the things that were on it? Or, I mean, is it work related? Is it okay?
There were actually some tangible things that you'd want, like timepiece or paying off your debt, owning a car, stuff like that. But finishing my degree was one of those things on there. And, starting a second business was on there. So stuff like that.
Yeah. For me, it was like writing a book a year. You also have
Writing, not reading.
Writing. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the entrepreneurship journey. And then there are inspirational words that remind you, like if you fall down, get up. Like there are phrases that you can write to remind you at a time when you're not mentally or emotionally strong to cheerlead for yourself.
Yeah.
You stand in front of your board and it cheerleads you. Yeah.
Wow.
Would you like us to help you?
Yeah, sure. I have a list. So I'll do a list, right? It's not a vision board. It's not pretty. It's chicken scratch handwriting. It's just like
But when you
January, February, March, April.
No, that's a to-do list.
Right. That's a to-do.
Is
No,
that
it's
not
different.
the same thing?
You have that in this blue corner over here, and you see you're laughing.
Yeah,
Wow.
and then the difference, Dwight, is that we learn to read from pictures. Like we learn visually. So just imagine the apple when you were in kindergarten. You know that was the A.
Right.
So we read better through pictures. So having the picture now plants an image in your head. So when you go to the grocery store and if you have debt free on your vision board, then you're gonna when you're to the cash register and you set a budget of $100, that visual of debt free on your board is gonna pop into your head because you now see the picture, and it's gonna help you streamline.
Wow. Any other tips you have, Charlie, for someone considering doing this?
So I think don't just create the vision board. For my event, I decided to have quarterly check-ins. So it's important for you to not just create the vision board and then, like Michael has said, to put it down. But it's important to continuously, every month, to look at your goals again, to refine it, to see what needs to be adjusted, how you can plan your days, your weeks to ensure that you're actually achieving the goals that you want.
Yeah.
So for the persons who attended the brunch, I informed them that each quarter we will have a check-in to see how everyone is doing with their goals, to ensure that we're all on the right track towards achieving the goals that we've set for ourselves.
Excellent. All right. So
this is one of the reasons why we thought it necessary to actually partner with Shelley in advance of our Youth Entrepreneurs Initiative, because we wanted to help young persons at this age understand the importance of planning, mentorship, starting up a business, market research, and then having apprenticeship opportunities, which is one of excited.
Wow. All right. So the event that you're having, there's a special theme, building wealth.
Yes.
Right. Tell us about this, and again, why you felt this was important.
So as you said, the theme is a young professional's guide to building wealth. We have 3 very inspirational, educated persons. We have the executive director of the Small Business Development Center, Ms. Samantha Roll, who will be speaking on youth entrepreneurship. We have Mr. Quentin Gibson, who is the brokerage supervisor at RF Bank and Trust, and he will be speaking on investing. And then we have Mrs. Rashida Bodie-Bow, who is an executive agent at BAF Financial and Insurance, and she will be talking to us on insurance. So we'll have those speakers, and then after that, the audience will have an opportunity to ask their questions to the speakers to get their burning questions answered, all about how they can build wealth. And I thought it was important because as young people, we all think, oh, we want more money, but we don't know how we can actually get that money. So I thought it was necessary to me talking about it, but to have actual experts to give them the tools that they need to truly thrive as they navigate adulthood and to build this wealth and financial freedom for themselves.
All right. Now, young professionals, do Quest and I can get in on that, or how old do you need to be?
But the target
18 to 35.
Oh, man, I missed it by 1 year. Missed it by 1 year.
Yes, the target audience
that's what it
is
feels like
18
to be
35.
excluded.
18 to 35.
Yes, that's the target audience. So young professionals, content creators, people who may still be in university, but they want the tools in order to help them to set up themselves for financial freedom and financial success. These are the people that we're targeting for this event.
And there is a cost.
Yeah, so the cost is $25.
Pretty reasonable.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
Extremely reasonable.
And exactly where and when, give us all those details.
So it will be at the Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center on Gladstone Road, which is in the plaza with the old Phil's food store. And it will be at 2 p.m. on Sunday.
Wow. Okay.
This coming Sunday?
Yes.
Okay.
Excellent. So if people are interested in seeing this, pardon the pun there, at a later date, how will that work?
So it's going to be an in-person event. At the time, we do not plan on recording it. So you'll have to be in the building in order to truly get all of the gems that will be dropped.
But you will be having more of these in the future.
Yes, I do plan on having more events to help our beautiful young people in the future.
All right. And Michael, you're saying that Charlotte's going to be helping you in the future with your Youth Entrepreneur Series. So tell us a little more about how that's going to work.
So, let me give you a fact, first of all. So, of our funded client base and persons who have been able to access, whether it's grants or loans, youth entrepreneurs only account for 26%.
Wow.
And so,
And
understanding.
you're calling that 18 to 35
Yes,
again?
and that's at 18 to 35. And
Imagine that.
these are the tech savvy, the innovators. And so, we definitely want that percentage to go up.
Why do you think that is right now? What's going on?
I think perhaps fair. Some challenges with accessing capital. Maybe they have applied for one of our programs, but the business plan didn't meet the standard, or maybe the application wasn't completed properly in its entirety. And so through this youth...
Because they are out there. They
Correct.
are doing
They are out there.
Do you offer support with that, or
We
is
do.
that okay? Great.
We
So
do.
they need to know that if they don't understand or they
They can
can't
ask.
complete it, they can reach out to you
Correct.
for support.
And then some of them have been operating already without business licenses. And so maybe when the grant comes around, they would have started the application, and by the time you've the business licenses
Right.
yet. And so it's a number of factors, but I think a lot of it is support and education and that assistance. And so what we're going to do through this initiative is offer an apprenticeship program, a youth entrepreneurs grant, and different programs that they can access under this initiative. Yes.
And you said that's going to start?
That's going to start September.
September. Okay. All right,
And that
so I'm
should
sure
run for a period of, I think, 12 weeks, just so that they can get, the ball going on certain initiatives, marketing, understanding your target audience. Because it's one thing to be in business and maybe you had a great idea and you just got started. So DeQuesta paid you, Dwight paid you, Charlie paid for their services. But then you kind of reach this point of, okay, where do I go from here? I didn't do any marketing, and now DeQuesta's moved on. She doesn't need this service anymore. And these were my core clients.
Right.
So now how do I build and talk about sustainability and all that good stuff? And so we're going to address some of those critical areas in the Youth Entrepreneurs Initiative.
So any young people listening now, since this is starting in September,
Start to get the documents.
Start to get your documents,
Correct.
put in for your business license, because it is a requirement. Don't wait, because it's only going to be like a 12-week period. So get a jump on it. You got a great idea, you're monetizing, get some support.
Yeah, get ready. So I'm sure we're going to be talking about this a little bit more over
We
the next
will
few
be back,
weeks.
yeah.
Yep. All right. So that's going to be great. And Charlie, this is exciting. What's next for you after you're going to be involved in this? But what can we expect from Char's mind going forward?
Throughout the year, and as I continue to grow the platform, I do anticipate hosting more events to help young people to navigate and thrive in adulthood. So obviously this one was more so about investing, insurance, and starting a small business. So I would hope in the future to host an event about real estate, because we know the importance of starting early with your real estate portfolio. So that is one event that I want to host in the future. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
That's going to be a big one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and Dwight, can I just say, I love her confidence.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Her confidence is just rocking, that
you.
smile and the way that you present and present yourself and how you speak so confidently
Yes, ma'am.
is something that young people can also learn from. So, girl, keep shining. You're doing a
Thank
great
you
job.
so much.
That real estate one, you might need to expand that a bit.
Yeah.
For not just...
Yes,
Because some,
definitely.
some older folks are having some
age up to
issues.
36 for Dwight.
Right, exactly.
And then
Thank
you'll
you
just be
very much.
excluding me, Michael.
Oh, boy. All right. So this is very exciting. Always a lot of great stuff going on with 8th grade SBDC. Here's a message we got. SBDC is a blessing. It helped my business so much with funding and mentorship because I desperately needed guidance as a new start of business. Wow.
Thank you for that.
So look at that. That's great. Everybody, thank you so much. Appreciate
Dwight,
it.
for having us.
Great meeting you
2 weeks.
in a couple weeks. Michael Muntz. Always
Thank
great.
you, DeQuesta.
Thank you, too.
Okay.
And to our earlier guests, Erlene Camille and Tanisha Pratt, thank you again. Thank you very much. And again, we'll see Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center in a few weeks. All right. Good luck again on Sunday with the Young Professionals Guide to Building Wealth event.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. Thank you. We're going to take a break and be back. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
All right, my beautiful islands. I tell you, if the good Lord never goes on holiday, tell me why He made the Bahamas. If the good Lord never used to come this way, tell me why He made these islands. All the sun, all the peace, all the skies, all the breeze, all the breeze, all the hills, all the sand, all the trees. Oh, tell me why. Tell me why He made these islands.
business couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity. It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it. My sales increased, and I can track my earnings. Get your credit card machine from Fidelity today. Call 356-7764.
It's back, the 35th annual Jeff Rogers Basketball Camp, July 17th through 28th, inside Kendall Isaacs Gym, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. For boys and girls 5 through 18. Sign up your child now at South Bahamas Seventh-day Adventist Office, Tonic Williams Highway, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's the Jeff Rogers Basketball Camp, July 17th through 28th at Kendall Isaacs Gym, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Special appearances by NBA stars, legends, and coaches. The 35th annual Jeff Rogers Basketball Camp. It's back.
It is time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. The Golden Jubilee celebrations marking 50 years since the country became an independent nation, providing a positive stimulus for the tourism sector. President of the Bahamas Hotel and Tourism Association, Robert Sandy Sands, telling Guardian Business that hotels have enjoyed very high occupancies this month, which were only boosted by the country's celebrations over the weekend. You can read more about what he's saying in today's Guardian Business section. Sands also said the traditional slow season in the Bahamas this year could be anything but slow as demand for Bahamas vacation continues to outpace supply. Sands says that as has been said many times over and over, the country needs to continue growing its room inventory in order to keep pace with growing demand. He says that the reality is that the Bahamas now has the opportunity to grow room inventory, and because we don't have the level of rooms that we would have had even pre-COVID, it's putting significant pressure on a number of hotels that are open, and traditional occupancies no longer apply because demand is outstripping supply at this time. He added that the growth in the tourism sector as the country rebounds from the COVID pandemic means that the traditional length of stay has also been increasing. The manufacturer of a well-known orange package of pre-prepped sheep tongue has a good problem. His demand is outstripping supply. Premium Processed Food Limited's David Turnquest wants to raise more than $170,000 in order to source sheep tongue abroad. That new supply would bring down his costs, expand his operation, and make sheep tongue souse more affordable. He told Guardian Business that $170,000 would also pay off a prior debt that comes due next month. He added that he's willing to work with any serious investor. According to Turnquest, sheep tongue souse sells better than any other souse in the Bahamas. He said that with the injection of capital, he could right-size his operation and increase his staff complement. You can read more about this in today's Guardian Business section. Overseas, after 2 years of painfully high prices, inflation in the United States has reached its lowest point in more than 2 years, 3% in June compared to 12 months earlier. That's a sign that the Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes have steadily slowed price increases across the economy. The inflation figure the government reported today was sharply down from 4% annual rate in May, though still above the Fed's 2% target rate. Over the past 12 months, gas prices have dropped as well, grocery prices have risen more slowly, and used cars have become less expensive. From May to June, overall prices rose 0.2%, up from just 0.1% in the previous month, but still comparatively mild. At the same time, some underlying inflation pressures remain high, and a nagging concern for the Fed, which is all about certain to increase its key interest rate again when it meets in 2 weeks. And Russia is threatening to pull out of a Ukraine grain deal, and that's raising fears about global food security. Concerns are growing that Russia will not extend the United Nations brokered deal that allows grain to flow from Ukraine to parts of the world struggling with hunger, with ships no longer heading to the war-torn country's Black Sea ports and food exports dwindling. Turkey and the UN negotiated a breakthrough accord last summer to ease a global food crisis, along with a separate agreement with Russia to facilitate shipments of its food and fertilizer. Moscow insists it's still facing hurdles, though data shows it's been exporting record amounts of wheat. Russian officials repeatedly say there are no grounds for extending the Black Sea Grain Initiative, which is up for its fourth renewal Monday. It's something that they've threatened before, then have twice gone on to extend the deal for 2 months instead of the 4 months outlined in the agreement. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Tuesday. Your market movers: Commonwealth Bank moving 47,000 shares, closing unchanged at $3.59. Focall moving 32,500, unchanged at $4.50. Consolidated Water down 8 cents, closing at $4.27. Emira Incorporated down 1 cent, closing at $9.91. The BISX All Share Index closing at 2,557.16, unchanged. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Oh, yeah. All right. My beautiful islands. I tell you, if the good Lord never goes on holiday, tell me why he made the Bahamas. If the good Lord never used to come this way, tell me why.
We are back here with the final minute of Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio. Dwight Strachan along with Duquesa Dean. Duquesa, this has been a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed it.
Totally enjoyed it.
So we
Thank
can do
you.
this again, right?
Yes, we
do this
certainly
again very
can.
soon. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I hope you don't regret that.
I'll look forward to
Yeah,
it.
excellent. There were great discussions this morning, and so learned a lot as well. So thank you again. Really appreciate it. And that is it for us today. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Everybody have a great day. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green next. It is Wednesday. Everybody, it's Wednesday. I'm very confused about the days. It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday,
Bahamas. Right. Have a great day, Bahamas.
Take care.
From Freeport to Iguana, Bahamas. Tourists love our country, Bahamas. 700 islands, Bahamas.